you know I'm feeling good like that. So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? I've been in the good times already. You can see it on my face, I know. No more racing, we got it. We could reach it, yeah, we got it. Oh, I'm feeling good like that. So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
One, two, three, four.
Oh man, would you look at me? You're just another one hit wonder, that's what everyone sees. Ain't it funny how you wanna be the best, but you can't even get up and get dressed? Wasted, face it, you're never gonna make it, make it.
Tugboat, I think you're coming in now, right?
Yep, I'm coming in now. Sorry about that. Hey,
Alright.
it's not an FBI Tugboat cast without starting it off muted on VMix. Gotta love it. FBI Tugboat Pyro J, we're here, Rocket League fans. The NECC Finals. We'll be hopping around to a bunch of different divisions here on the day. Pyro, how are you feeling?
Good. I'm feeling bouncy. I'm ready to hop around myself. We're kicking it off with Division 8. Okay, we cover all the Rocket League action here on NECC, so you got to get ready for it all. But then we're following up with Division 1 and Division 2, maybe some of those teams that you're more used to. But Tugboat, one thing similar with all of these teams is that they have fought the hardest, the longest, the best to be our top 2 teams in this first semester. Couldn't be more thrilled to get it going.
Absolutely. And opportunities like this one are possible, of course, due to some organizations like Buy Blue Light. Gamers, your eyes take a beating out there, but Buy Blue Light have you covered. Their premium blue light glasses keep you sharp, focused, and ready for victory without the eye strain. Level up your game and protect your vision. Check out Buy Blue Light today, which is the official eye care partner of the NECC. Now, of course, that is Buy BYE Blue Light. You can go over there to Buy 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 Blue Light glasses. A lot of in there, a lot in there. Let's take a look at first here. This is the Mount Vernon Nazarene Cougars squad. That is FaZe Booth. That is Gritty Man and APL, which I'm pretty sure is pronounced Apple.
I think you got that right. Yep, for that is for our first team, Mount Vernon, Nazarene University, headed over to the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth. Mikey C, Zath, and Candyman. So we'll be seeing if all the sweets and the treats are given out, or maybe a few tricks are up the sleeves of UMass. Either way, the tricks have to have already been pulled out of the hat for this competition for both teams to get to the finals. I believe our players are in the lobby. I believe our players are in the NECC Fall Finals of Division 8 are on.
Yes, yes. Folks, Some people talk about, celebrating, Christmas, playing Christmas music too early, right? Pyro J talking about trick-or-treating 2 weeks after, or a week after Thanksgiving. Mikey C, though, is going to be able to get the first one here for your Dartmouth Corsairs.
Listen, if you don't think I'm still snacking on Halloween discount candy in December, you are wrong, my friend. You are so, so wrong. You'd be wrong to discount the efforts of the University of Massachusetts. Already one on the board to get things going. A long best of 7 underway, but Tug, it doesn't hurt to get a first goal in quick.
No, it does not. No, it does not. And the control coming out here from the Corsairs so far has really won the day. Candyman coming up to this one, but cannot quite maintain operations of their car. Take it to the corner. Pick up a big boost along the way. Zale now putting this down to the left-hand corner, bouncing across mid-pitch, but that's going to be easily picked up. It turns into a passing play. Apple almost reaches to the top of the tree for this one.
Yeah, gravity decided to be the dominant factor there, though, bringing the ball where inertia had it set forth in the beginning. It was towards the orange net. UMass having to put up a couple blocks there to defend their 1-goal lead, and that they will do. But it's pretty clear that so far, Cougars are not done fighting. Coming down, dropping on is UMass, but this ball's still up for grabs in the midfield. We'll see who picks it up.
Yeah, this is a lot of pressure early from the UMass Corsairs. Got a goal so quickly, a game didn't even count a shot in there. None for either team so far 90 seconds in, and that is a stat I would not have anticipated. These two teams did not get here by mistake. D8 it might have been. We'll see how this continues to go. Passing plays at least the attempts have been present, Pyro.
Yeah, that's all you can count on at a certain point for game number 1 is just establish that offense, see what works, figure out what doesn't. You're going to come up against a ton of different competitors with different strengths and weaknesses of their own. Maybe it's the chip shots, maybe it's the dribbles and the flicks, maybe it's the counterattacks, whatever it is. Establish it now, establish it early, and work on fortifying those strengths as the series goes on.
A great job right there. Believe that was Candyman coming up to it, and that player was teeing off on it. Now it's Candyman with a shot. It wasn't the first attempt. It wasn't even the second. It's always going to be, a nice onslaught of offensive pressure here that usually goes forward to rue the day. UMass, this Dartmouth squad, going up 2-0 and about 25 seconds outside of halftime.
Gonna give credit as well to the facilitator of that play, Zaff. Had taken that 50-50 right before the shot to coordinate it to the midfield. And again, you see Zaff shooting the ball towards the net, following up on it as well, crashing the boards and grabbing a third for their team.
Yeah, double commit on there. Player coming from the top, Apple, was trying to get this more of a clear. Other player just ended up more just getting a stop, honestly. Where it would rest is pretty much right in front of net, and this was not full-on free, but close to it. Discounted, we'll say. 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to go here. A 3-score lead for the Corsairs.
Big block coming through. Candyman gets it out and away. FaZe Booth was the one with that shot, and the Cougars are working up some shots, some opportunities, but at a certain point, I want to see the Cougars risk it a little more. They're getting this ball across the face of the net, but that lunge for that shot taker to be there in front of the net, finish the play, hasn't quite been present. Again, you see Cougar players peeling off the play, but for this time, it's for good reason. Apple had it in from the beginning.
Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. Second overall shot for this squad. FaZe Booth owns the other one. This one's finally going to find it in. FaZe Booth awarded with the assist on this one. Maybe a little bit of life here with plenty of time, Pyro, for the Mount Vernon Nazarene Cougars.
Yeah, Mount Vernon certainly still in this one, and, it's good for them to open the floodgates before the 2-minute mark, especially in game number 1. It is the final. It's been a long semester for these teams, but every match in Rocket League, you kind of start at 0. I've seen Rocket League teams at all stages of this game just say, well, it wasn't our day. And you want to prove early and often that it is your day, especially when it comes to finals.
Absolutely. Hey, there's not really any game that doesn't matter in this one, but of course, In case you're unfamiliar, just joining us from last season, all divisions, Division 1 through, I believe, Division 9 for Rocket League. We've got a lot of Rocket League going on with the NECC, Pyro. But every division, best of 7s all the way through. Obviously, we're not going to change that for Grand Finals either. Now, the difference between this matchup here in D8, Pyro, and the matchups later is that there are bracket reset capabilities here, but for this one, for this best of 7, whoever comes out standing at the end of it will be the victor no matter which team.
That's right. That is right. Winner take all, which is just how I like it. Everything's on the line in just one matchup here for the playoffs. FaZe Booth sharpening their shot for the net, setting it up for Apple. That's been the player to find.
A fantastic bouncing ball right across the middle of this net. Zaf goes up for it and goes under Zaf and over Mikey. Great job putting the just straight up, very simple, putting the ball where defenders are not. 3-2 with 50 seconds to go.
I mean, the bounce shot is really underrated in Rocket League. It's seen as one of the lesser mechanical displays in Rocket League, but if that's the most efficient route around the defenders, then what's wrong with it in the first place? It has earned Mount Vernon a 1-goal game now and put this game 1 in winnable territory.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a 3-score run, so they should be really, really happy with how this is turning out as of right now. Lofted ball, left corner. I mean, there is not a whole lot of time for Mount Vernon to come out after this. And you kind of see this categorical shift of this Dartmouth squad just kind of trying to play keep away and maintain a lead that they enjoyed across the first half of this. Oh, corner posted out. Oh, my goodness. Got to get this ball aloft. Got to get it aloft right now. 000s on the clock. Last bounce. And that's going to be enough for the UMass Corsairs to take game numero uno in this best of 7.
One of the last stays in Heartbreak Hotel has been taken up and reserved by the Cougars. Mount Vernon coming just pixels away from that equalizer. And that's no simple equalizer. Talk about it. I mean, at this point, that was a big run for Mount Vernon. 2 goals in a row to bring it within 1. That came across the last 3 minutes of gameplay. It felt like they were one of the climbers on Mount Everest, but they ended up as one of the ones that just barely didn't make it to the top.
It's fair. It's fair. Dangerous situation here indeed. No more higher stakes than it is in the grand finals, Pyro. Right. It's so interesting to me that it's the kickoff, right? It's the very first kickoff for UMass in the first 7 seconds of this game or something like this that ends up being the defining factor. If you look at the numbers as well, 6 total shots here from Mount Vernon, only 4 for the side of UMass. And again, they weren't even awarded one for the initial kickoff goal right here. So essentially 5 versus 6, and this very easily could have been a 2-2. Like in almost any other world, right? The third shot here for the side of Mount Vernon goes in and not hits corner post and actually goes in. The initial shot for UMass doesn't go in off a kickoff. This is 2-2 or 3-3, and we're still watching it in overtime. So very, very even-handed thus far. Both of these teams have really earned their position here in the grand finals.
No doubt about it. We expect this fight to be the toughest, the tightest, and it certainly is formulating that way. Game number 2, we'll see if University of Massachusetts Dartmouth can sort of get their grounds beneath them again. It is 2 goals uncontested in favor of Mount Vernon. Been a bit silent from Massachusetts. Talk about it's hard to tell whether they would just play a defensive game in the second half or if they're going to break loose as soon as game 2 gets kicked off here.
I think it was more of a situation of UMass was able to play an advantage super early between the kickoff and then the second one, and then the third one comes in. I think a lot of people are thinking, oh, well, chalk it up, dude. This one's almost over. The Nazarene squad brought it back within 1. Again, that last-second cornered shot. If that ends up being the real defining factor and this one goes down to 4-3, that's going to be a real bad feels bad, man. Real bad. You don't understand what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, hey, there's a Rocket League mechanic called the Feels Backflip. It is named after the Feels Bad Man. When you try to go for a tall double jump, a fast aerial, and you backflip instead. Neither team's feeling too bad, though. After the first minute of gameplay, it's still tied up here. But this one looking very nice for MVNU. They had that open shot from the elbow, couldn't lock in on it. But Apple, what a turnaround On clear, gonna contest him, and that would be the best redirect we've seen all day, Tugboat. But I think it was an own goal.
Right here?
Yep.
Oh, no, I don't think. Oh my. Wait, no. That bounced off a Gritty Man and inside, right?
Yep.
There's his stuff.
Oh.
Third shot total safe right there. A couple of saves for Candyman. Just can't quite find that.
Wow. I thought for sure that was an own goal. That was a intentional redirect to the bottom corner? That was nuts.
We'll have to
For
watch that on
Gritty
replay.
Man,
I'm,
what
like,
a
I'm like
goal.
questioning myself at this point. I looked at Gritty Man, looked at the name. All right, regardless, Apple, this one we know went in. It was intentional. FaZe Booth gets on the board here for the assist. So 2 goals, 2 assists for the side of this Mount Vernon squad. This is now the kind of momentum, right? Because if we're taking the goals from last game, Pyro, and putting into this one, UMass has nothing in the second half of the last game and the past 2 minutes or so of this one.
That's right. Yeah, MVNU on a tear at this point. And, I mean, for 4 goals to go in the net uncontested, very strong showing for this team. Very good turnaround. Feels like Dartmouth really just need 1 goal to spin that off. And look at that Gritty Man, another nice redirect. My apologies again to Gritty Man. I think that was just a lightning fast redirect goal for them. And they're trying to prove those mechanics on nearly every turnaround here.
Yeah, it seems like mechanically speaking, like, you know, who can get aerial and possession and all the twisty-turvy stuff that is required to maintain possession of that ball across the air. It doesn't really seem like either of these teams are, like, you know, afraid of taking it to the air. Like, sure, there's a couple of whiffs. We just kind of saw one Candyman a little bit there, but teammate was there to back it up regardless. That's how teams play when they know that, you know, not everybody can do the triple dunk, musty flick, you know, everything reset, right? It's like you're ordering everything bagel.
Oh, man, I wish I could do that mechanically. I wish I could put it in order and have it my way, but I guess Candyman orders up, dropping it down. 1 goal, Dartmouth score in what's been, 5-6 minutes, maybe a game time. That drought ending.
Yeah, gotta feel good right here because everybody can read the writing on the wall, and that is that after a certain point, everyone's going to be looking at UMass, especially if there's goals coming the other way, kind of be like, well, was that like by mistake? Was this, you know, just something lucky that was found right there? Was that kickoff just the beginning of a deluge? And that answer has now been given from Dartmouth. Gritty going to put themselves in great position, but just doesn't have enough boost to really seal the deal. Another fantastic opportunity. Gritty Man will be down low. Player back. Should have a little bit of boost to get there, tries to, but that's going to be the Dartmouth squad just getting there a little bit too early. Nicely done. Follow up. Both of these too wide.
That's got to be in, right?
Okay.
There it is. There it is. Gritty Man closes the deal. Says we set up shop. We've been open all day. We haven't got a single order. We got at least sell a knick-knack. At least lock in the goal. There it is. MVNU walk away with that third.
Yeah, nice one. 8 total shots here for the Cougars. Only 4 from the Corsairs. I will say that all 4 of these goals, across this map between both these teams have been assisted. So it's a team play ruling the day thus far, Pyro.
It's team game. Car soccer. You need all 3. And Gritty Man. No. Another nearly flawless redirect coming out of Gritty Man. That one just out. But how about the dunk? Apple's got it.
Dude, there's some disrespect attached to this shot as well right here, man. Look at this. Both players up. Zaf, both of them get an honest handle onto this ball and actually make contact. But Apple just does their best brick wall impersonation and just hits it.
That's what you need. You need the opening. You need to capitalize. And sometimes, honestly, in Rocket League, you got to disrespect your opponents. You have to. You have to get in their face. You have to force them to play a different game. And rushing at them, going for the dunk plays, that will do it. There's been a clear transition of power after the game 1 halftime, and that has gone to the MVNU Cougars. Since that point in this match, they've outscored their opposition 6-1. It's finally going to translate in a win for the Cougars. It's going to tie up this series, Tugboat, and it's going to make the rest of this series a whole lot more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, nobody was looking at these two teams thinking that this was going to be a 4-0 sweep, one way or the other, like talented as they may be, and that's definitely going to put the, I mean, the nail was in the coffin about 15, 20 seconds ago with a 3-score differential. This one just looked a little bit better for the scoreboard. So this one might end 5-2, 6-1, whatever. The result will ultimately be the same. That is Mount Vernon coming back at this one. Biggest changes between Game 1 and Game 2, Pyro. I'll start, and I think that really the biggest thing is that Mount Vernon has just shown consistency, and that is a consistency that's been lacking over this for the side of Dartmouth.
Oh my, is that a double to end it? Man, I really thought so. Yes, I'm right there with you. Game 2 is won by MVNU, and the changes had definitely been made. To me, it's more of a warm-up situation. I mean, we can see that Apple and Gritty Man are both incredibly mechanically inclined. And sometimes you got to assess the pace of the game before those mechanics shine. And it kind of took halfway through Game 1 to get there, but we are there. What we also need to keep in mind is for Mount Vernon Nazarene University, MVNU Cougars squad, this is the team that is the 1 seed. Of course, we expect this to be a close match, but the quarterfinals, the semifinals, both won with only dropping a single game. I'll talk about it. I don't know if those matches where they lost one game were in Game 1, just like we saw in this match, but it could be true that the Cougars just take a little bit of revving up the engine, a little bit of warming up, and once they're moving, there's no stopping them.
Yeah, I could definitely see that ultimately being the case. I was trying to open this one. No, it was Game 3 that they ended up losing. So it was actually like right there in the middle of this one. So
hypothesis busted.
I mean, different squad, right? Different squad. It's hard to directly relate individual teams, even if they might be within the same division. It's a good idea right there, but it really just seems like the Cougars have found their pace, and they have no reason to change the cruise control.
That's right. Yeah, if you got to set it at a cool 65, why change it at that point? You're hanging out in the right lane, letting other cars pass by, and it's because you're confident in the lane you have taken. Look at the confidence out of Gritty Man. Pass over to FaZe Booth. Nearly the bang we were looking for, but not what University of Massachusetts Dartmouth was looking for. They'll be happy to see that one away off the crossbar. They'll be happy to see this one saved by Mikey.
Couple of honest attempts here early. That one hit out to the right side. Gritty Man tries to set it up and just a little bit too high. We have 3 total shots in the first 40 seconds from this Cougars squad. Speaking of, it just seems like UMass is a little bit more used to these longer situations, right? I mean, they're just coming off of a W against Fuel Esports Rising. That was 4-3 right there. So taking it all the way to the brink. Back it up, even a single round, Pyro, and it was a 4-1 victory over Loyola University in Maryland.
Yeah, mostly strong wins. I mean, 3 of the 4 wins between these two teams in playoffs were 4-1, strong, convincing. And, you know, for Dartmouth, you're coming up against that 3 seed, so it's going to be a tough match. It's going to be a tough win. Whatever way you spin it, these teams collected their wins. They earned their position here, and now they're about to earn the first goal in game number 3. Domination just seems to continue. As you mentioned, Tugboat, they've put up so many shots already at the start of this game, and it's finally capitalizing their first goal for MVNU.
7 total, that being the actual 7th. Only 3 of them have been saved with only 1 goal scored, so obviously that tells us that some of them weren't like true value shots. It was just kind of the result of a ball going towards the net, maybe without a whole lot of intention. But 7-0 as of right now, and you can really see, I mean, this is a squad here. Oh no, no own goal, no own goal. Gritty Man does it to him for a second time.
See, I knew an own goal was coming. I just forgot when, you know. A little bit of pinball in front of the net. And yeah, for Dartmouth, not really where they were hoping that one was headed. It's understandable for the Corsairs because you've had to play so much defense. You just want to have presence in the net. And you want to try to defend shots, but from FaZe Booth, for this double, there's no saving that.
Yeah, not much to it. Gets the 45-degree angle onto it in the perfect side, and there's nobody. I mean, If there is a mild change in the defense here for UMass that I might suggest, it'd be playing off the backboards like a little bit, and that sideboard, kind of like exactly where Candyman is. And look at that. As soon as he flips under it, and now it's possession of this UMass squad. Now, will they continue it? That's to be said. But what that wasn't was a very effective shot that forces the hand of a defender, sometimes even two, because UMass has had to dedicate to so far multiple times.
Couldn't agree more. Talk about that backboard is oftentimes the most valuable real estate for players to get your offense rolling. You can see how it almost converted into a UMass goal, and unfortunately for them, Cougars are all over this ball. Got plenty of shots denied there on that possession, and they're looking to turn it around right here. Midfield ball out to FaZe Booth. FaZe Booth misfiring, kind of ran out of boost in that situation. Shot goes downfield. It's going to be barely off target. Candyman up and at him just in case. Mikey with the spin maneuver. Pass one nearly through two. Tall bouncer to a teammate. Will force two from the Cougars. This is a good chance maybe for UMass to capitalize. Around the corner. Gritty Man misses the touch. Here it is off the backboard. Shot's going to come through here. Unfortunately, just missed there from UMass.
But I will say they've spent more time on offense here in the past 2 minutes or so. It feels like they may have in the entirety of that 5-1 drubbing in game number 2. Tries to get into it. Oh, Gritty Man with a real cheeky attempt at the very end. They read that out perfectly. And then it's going to be Gritty Man following it up with a demo right here. Kind of mad he missed the shot, apparently.
Got to take that Fury out in a good way, and the demolition is a nice way to open up the lane, create the avenue, set up shop, and nearly grab that 4th goal. FaZe Booth shot is saved. A lot more saves in this game. University of Massachusetts, and that's good to start to, lay the groundwork for a defense that could shape up for a better series, but in this game, defense is not going to collect a win for you, UMass. You've got about a minute to score 3. That means you got to get started now.
Yeah, I got to say, this Mount Vernon's defense squad, they have shown, no hesitancy whatsoever to meet the offender, to meet the ball carrier right in front of this net. Part of this is the crisp rotations, they know teammates are going to be there back and block off any, crazy wayward shot that results from a 50. But part of it is just, straight-up confidence. And speaking of confidence, how about another hat trick for Gritty Man?
It's never ending. It's just relentless from Gritty Man. It comes up that backboard that you mentioned earlier, talking about a free backboard that UMass was unable to defend that time around. Sometimes you run out of boost. You don't have the resources to actually get on the backboard and make a decent save out of it. Speaking of saves, that one really nicely blocked from UMass. So this game kind of out of their range, but they can certainly take notes from what the Cougars were able to show off in this game. Like you mentioned, the defensive rotation has been crisp. Start to see that from the Cougars as they just barely rotate in for that save. And in the final seconds, they'll look to close this one in style.
I swear, Gritty Man's kind of like Beetlejuice, except for saying Beetlejuice's name 3 times in a mirror. You just have to touch the ball twice, and bam, Gritty Man exists. So take it away from you, or to demo you, or send you flying to the other side, or somehow get a hit like that redirect that we saw in game number 1 to find a goal from 0 possession. But another 4-score differential here between Mount Vernon Nazarene, these Cougs, and the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth Corsairs that have failed to find a whole lot of momentum since that game number 1, Pyro.
Yeah, I think what's especially a struggle here is after the 15 shots from MVNU, 4 shots still felt like an improvement, like an accomplishment for University of Massachusetts for what felt like a just roadblock to assert themselves over, to get 4 shots, to get some long-standing possessions, is really just a molehill compared to the mountain of the shot totals from MVNU. So that's the struggle right now for UMass, is their accomplishments just have nothing on their opposition. They've got to level up, Tug, in these next couple games.
I have to agree with you. And the thing is, they're not it's not like they're cutting rotations early. It's not like they're getting into the, okay, just block ball and don't clear it or try and get it to a teammate or anything else like this. There's not massive mistakes that this University of Massachusetts Dartmouth squad is making. It's just a really, really crisp offense and a really, really crisp defense on the other side. The first thing that a lot of people would go to say is like try and get a little bit more physical. We saw Gritty Man getting super, super physical in the previous game, and between bumps, demos, and more, there was a couple of goals that were just brought out of nothing from that physical play. At least try it at this point, because I mean, obviously they've done a lot of, I mean, they played against this squad against the regular season. I'd be really hard pressed to believe that they didn't watch this, both of these squads didn't watch each other's Rocket League gameplay a bit coming into this matchup, coming into the grand finals now here for D8. So there's got to be like little things you just pull at. If you find a thread, rip that thing, and the sweater's going to come off soon.
Yeah, and I think it's like build on whatever strengths you've been able to provide so far in this game. Like already in this matchup, I saw some great maneuvers in the midfield, some dribbling left to right. You mentioned that Gritty Man, you hit the ball twice and he's there, right? That fast pace can be beaten by just good car control, good ball control, right? Dribble, flicking those players that are going to attack you at a moment's notice, that aren't going to give you that time and that room to breathe. So I do want to see some more confident control from that squad of UMass. So they've got a couple games still to do that, Tug. You know, we're dropping into game number 4, where MVNU, they're on a tear, but this series ain't over yet.
It's very true. It's very true. But this has got to feel like the pivotal moment in this matchup, because, I mean, no one wants to be in like the gentleman's reverse sweep situation. You took down one, and they have to do 3 in a row against a squad like this that has outscored you 9-1 in the past 10 minutes of Rocket League, folks. No overtime so far. There hasn't even been close to it outside of that game. Number 1, good defensive block, and this should even be picked up by Mikey. It is. So this is what I'm talking about, actually, Pyro, when I talk about, well, there's the physical play as well. I feel a little bit vindicated there. But this is what I'm talking about when I say it's not just a clear, it's going to be like an attempted pass or something across the middle instead of just hitting ball as best you can so it goes the other way.
Right, you don't want to hand away the rock the second that you get some time on it. You can see the Gritty Man knows exactly how to do that. Look at the proximity to the ball, whether it's an air dribble, whether it's a kick off the wall. They're close to the ball. That challenge comes through. They can at least get a 50-50 there. Wonderful chance for Dartmouth to get a shot to go there. Just couldn't get the read off the backboard. Opportunities present. Goals somewhere to be found. Zaf is the closer.
There you go. For the first time since game numero uno, this UMass squad is going to score first. It's a good game. They would go, which of course means the team that scored first would go forth to win. Now, in a 5-1 4-0, I'd say that matters a little bit less than it did in that game number 1 that did end 3-2. Here's another one. Candyman, almost free right there. What were they seeing there to not have bid in on that like immediately once the lane opened up, Pyro?
I mean, it comes down to the vision sometimes, and it comes down to the rotation, right? If the comms aren't crisp, if you're not in the right spot, then you've just got to move around the field and be where you need to be at that moment's notice. The reaction may not have worked in that moment, but listen, for UMass, they've been able to turn the tides. Okay, they've gotten the lead in what's been a long time since they've seen it. They just got to set up shop, make a couple saves, especially as Cougars are breathing down your neck here. Good tall pass up off the sidewall. Savior is there in the Corsairs. But that ball's going to bounce away. Half-court play from MVNU, keeping this one neutral.
About 10 seconds outside of halftime right now. A little bit of confidence behind this Corsair squad. They're sailing forth with a little swagger in their step. I like it. Midfield pitch play has not really been dominated by Mount Vernon in the same way that it has. And a bouncing ball blocked. Booth keeping the score difference within 1.
Tell you what, that Dominus hitbox on the new Simpsons car is so good for the flicks. Zaf making the flicks look beautiful, but you mentioned it, Booth, with a heroic save. That's going to keep Massachusetts still in this one. Booth trying to get up for another play. That's another midfield beat against the Cougars. Again, those are the kind of swinging plays that I like to see from Dartmouth. Their ball will go wide for MVNU, so I'm not sure how much longer it can last, just this 1-0 lead, Tugboat, but it's lasted into the final 2 minutes.
I have to agree. Now, UMass has been nursing this lead, and it's a fantastic one. I'm not saying like that, but there's been a couple of problems on offense about just finishing. They have these fantastic plays drawn up. They have possession. They even get the passes in sometimes, and whether by hook or by crook or maybe even a little bit of luck, they've so far been able not been able to get that one in. Now a sustained Mount Vernon offense is going to result in a goal, and we have a classic 90-second drill.
Yeah, that one's going to go in. Equalizer. We were kind of saying that it was almost inevitable that that tying goal was going to come through. Massachusetts would have to get a second, and managed to do so. So, minute 30, 90 seconds. We'll see which team has the response as another demo comes out.
Who just wants it more? I'm going to say that's Mikey with some physical play. Now escorting the ball all the way through a shot. It takes two members of these Corsairs to block it, but block it they do. Pressure not alleviated yet, though. Shot again, and this one is too fast. FaZe Booth punching their ticket back into the lead with about 65 seconds to go.
Oh, that is just a clean power shot right there. We've seen Booth heat up this game with an incredible save. And on that one, well, it's just going to be the shot that may seal the deal. But we've seen fight out of the Corsairs so far this game. I wouldn't give up on them just yet.
Oh no! I mean, this is a game that they came out and won on top of the backside. But again, the defensive breakdowns from the University of Massachusetts. This time, a little bit of. I mean, you kind of have to read like these in the front. Oh no, never mind. That was Apple with. Okay, they just kind of threw their car at the ball and happened to redirect at the very, very end. Look, hook, crook, however you get it right. They're going to take that one, and it still was. I mean, they're still in the lead. That was just a two-score lead. This is still able to come back from, but that just got a lot harder. Absolute breakdown of the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth Corsairs right now, man.
I normally wouldn't mention it, but it's starting to feel like a Booth curse. We said it twice in a row. Hey, Mass, you're not out of this. And then they get scored on twice in a row. That is just tragic. They faced this 3-goal deficit before. Know it's a tough one to get across. And with MVNU performing as well as they are, they turned it on for the final 2 minutes here.
Okay.
Okay, indeed. If it's anyone, it's going to be Zaf to get UMass back on the board.
So it's a great hit, and then they get onto backboard ready for this to come out here so they can hit it back down to a teammate. That's what I talk about, finishing a play and not like counting those points on the board until they're actually there, right? Until that number changes. 2-4 as of right now, so there's a little bit of life maybe, and regardless, they're not going to get demolished from this, but then they double commit on offense and take away a solid opportunity from their teammate and waste about 12-13 seconds.
I gotta hand it, to Corsairs. They have set up as many chances for themselves to score as is needed. Mikey tries to get that late dunk. Gritty Man saves maybe the last attempt for the University of Massachusetts to come back in this one, but it is sealed. It is done. MVNU are going to win game number 4. They will be 1 game away from being your NECC Division 8 champions.
You want to talk about clutch factors. FaZe Booth has to be in that sentence, man. 6 total shots from this MVNU Cougars. 5 of them coming from the same player, from Booth. 3 saves as well, a pair of goals and an assist. Get that MVP trophy out. You better start writing FaZe Booth on it right now.
Yeah, listen, and I was the first to count Booth out. I'll be so honest with you, because we had just wrapped up a play where Booth was on the bottom of the leaderboard for the team, and it was unbelievable mechanics displayed by their teammates. And I said, okay, you know what? He's taking a backseat. He's keeping the fundamentals working. There's nothing wrong with that. He's keeping the team squared. But it's clear that whatever player needs to do it for MVNU, they will put the cape on. They will be the hero that takes the squad to a championship. And I love to see that save shot combination that we did out from Booth in that game. Tugboat, it's looking like enough to be our Div 8 East champions.
Yeah, and we are one game away from that being the case. If MVNU is able to take this one down, this will be a quick 4-1 exit. Now, we haven't seen, and you can't really be surprised, right? Again, I would have been incredibly surprised if this one went down to a 4-0. Now, speaking of, I do want to go ahead and give you guys results. Transy Esports, that's what's written down here. Fuel Esports rising, losing in 4-0 fashions. That's actually the only sweep in this entire D8 bracket.
Wow. Yeah, no, there weren't any sweeps. And hey, for Transy to pick up a 3rd place in the division is fantastic. Congratulations to their team. Obviously missing out on the finals, taking a 1-4 loss to MBNU. And UMass had that Game 7 against Fuel, so that's just going to strengthen the resume right now for MVNU Cougars. The fact that the team they handily beat. Look out the strong-willed opponents against UMass. MVNU just... You know, they keep lining up. It's the storyline. It's the shots. It's the comebacks. It's the goals. They've got almost too much to count them out.
Some offensive opportunities so far. Both teams credited with a shot, and both teams credited with a single save. Zaf, who really, honestly, if we want to talk, like we talked a lot about FaZe Booth on the other side. Candyman, sure. Mikey, absolutely, especially on the defensive side. But Zaf has really turned on the afterburners in some offensive plays that has brought this UMass squad, in their round 1 win, and brought them pretty darn close there in the previous Game 4.
Right. That's right. Let's see what comes to fruition for this game. Though, as, hold on, a loose ball to the net. Okay, Tugboat, we'll watch the replay. I'm pretty sure this one was an own goal. Oh, yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, and the insult to injury to hit the ball and then get demoed. Oh, brutal.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be a 1-score lead here for the Nazarenes. Cougars, excuse me. Apple was flying in at this ball. Kind of hits off at the middle way of that shot attempt. Sent flying. Apple, a bouncing ball to the ground. This is a pass to nobody, but still the defenders have to play it.
Yeah, there's no choice but to do so. Candyman, nice pass out to their teammate, though. And Mikey up and Adams. Great reactions for University of Massachusetts to tie it up.
Yeah, and this is all completely purchased by Candyman climbing the ladder right there, getting up to this one. No, it's not some huge 100-mile-an-hour shot to the top right corner or anything else like that. No, Pyro, it doesn't need to be. Teammates there, and we have a tied ball game.
That's fantastic. That is the grit that you expect from a championship-making team of the Corsairs. They're strong-willed, not willing to give up. They will expend the resources on a counterattack to make sure that tying goal happens. But what can they still have on the defensive end? I surely thought we'd get a touch out from the last defender here, but from Gritty Man, it's just so hard to get in front of their goals.
Another goal, another assist, 3 goals total in this one. All of them assisted thus far. And a pair of saves for both squads. Obviously, the difference being that right there for the Cougars, 2-1, 25 seconds outside of halftime. Kickoff 1 right here, though, but it's just literally put it right on the numbers, right in the breadbasket of that blue player. I believe that was FaZe.
Yeah. Yeah, you love the teamwork from Cougars. You can tell it's a team that, while they played with each other through the season, they decided to work on the strengths of themselves as a unit.
No.
But sometimes you don't need a teammate. Booth with another double.
Man, oh man. So everybody on the side of this Cougars squad going to get one, and that is going to be another own goal. I was talking so well about Zaf and how well they've been playing on the offense right here. They try and cut it back to defense. Not going to like the result. Down by 2, halftime in game 5, excuse me. Down by this, match point, series point, championship point for your division. What do you do, UMass? Let's see it.
Yeah, let's see it. It all comes down to these next couple of minutes. Realistically, it comes down to this next minute. We've seen MVNU put together plenty of 3-goal leads. UMass has to stop that from happening. I like this downward pass to Mikey. This time it's intercepted, though. MVNU understand exactly the strengths of UMass. If you can cut away those counterattack passes, then you've taken out their most lethal component.
And it just becomes more and more, it seems like that the next goal here is going to be the defining factor. If that goes the way of the Cougars and a 3-score difference shows its head with sub 100 seconds to go, then that feels like the nail in the coffin. If it goes the ways of the Corsairs and this brings it back from the brink to a 1-score differential, then this is anybody's game.
Couldn't be more right about it. Will that next goal come through? And if so, from who? Right now, MVNU are the ones with possession, but Facebook just can't get a handle of the ball.
Oh my
In
God,
fact,
no.
nobody can get a handle of the car. It's 5 p.m. on a Friday. It's a traffic jam in the corner of the field. And in this gridlock, it's going to be the Corsairs to get out. But Apple has some contests to make. That's Gritty Man with the block as well. 60 seconds left. MVNU, no more time to waste.
Double commit on the offense. They would have loved to have a player back for Gritty Man's rebound. Oh, man, 45 seconds to go right here. If they find it in the next 15 or so, then it's going to, obviously there's going to be a score difference, but it's going to feel like a clean slate type situation, Pyro. With just 1 to go, that can be done at triple zeros. That said, they need one and pretty much need it right now.
I love that slow play, though, that we saw from Gritty Man. Instead of flicking into the ball and making a risky play, instead played the ground, controlled play, and from the ground, Gritty Man puts up a half-court shot that stuns everybody and may just seal the match.
3 scores, 30 seconds. Not even 30 seconds here, Pyro. I'm not calling it until those say triple zeros and there's more than a 1-score differential, but it's definitely going to feel like it here. Bouncing ball across the middle, and this is, that was the Cougars. It looked like they were kind of cool with just holding on to possession. Another 5 seconds or so bounced off of this as a ball hits the ground. Candyman just tries to get it back towards that way, and now I think we can officially call this. 10 seconds to go, 3 scores. Not sure if that's going to happen, my friend.
It will not. There it is. Mount Vernon, Nazarene University, the Cougars are your NECC Division 8 East champions off of the 4-1 series. A convincing win for this team.
Fantastic performance here. Shout out to FaZe Booth, Gritty Man, and Apple. Want to give a shout out to the coaching staff. I believe that's Doster. That's the name that we have written down, as well as we know that no team gets here by themselves. The shooting differential pretty much remained the same throughout all of these. I believe it was that game number 4, and of course that game number 1. They were a lot more close, a lot more even-handed here, and even sometimes UMass kind of like making more with less, but that was not a theme whatsoever that was shown across all 5 of these games, and it was just a slow burn for the side of Mount Vernon. Fantastic job for them, D8, and hey, maybe they'll be looking at a division less than 8. A little bit less than 8 because the higher the you understand what I'm saying. Division 1 being the highest.
I'm with you.
You get
I'm with you.
There you go.
Hey, but at this point, they have earned that Division 8 champion right. This is something to really be proud of because it may be one of those higher numbers. It may want to be one of those lower divisions in the count for NECC. But what was proven today is that Division 8 brings the fangs. They bring the fight. I mean, this was a Rocket League match with some top talent in the collegiate scene. So I'm very impressed with this Mount Vernon squad, and they have a bright and successful future ahead of them here when the spring semester comes up. But hey, it's been a hard-fought tournament for them, Tugboat. Now it's time to kick up their feet and enjoy, appreciate the win. They earned it.
They do. And what you all have earned now is we want to start out with a little D8, right, and get you guys accustomed to it, to the fire and the fire and the fireworks and everything else like that. Because up next, folks, we got a pair of banger matches. Indiana Tech Team A taking on Northwoods for your Division 1 Grand Finals. Bracket reset capabilities there. We'll talk about it when we get back from a short break. D2, that'll be Davenport Red and Carthage Firebird Red. A rematch of the D2 upper finals there, Pyro J. When we finish that out, that'll be the last game of our broadcast. For now, though, FBI Tugboat Pyro J, short break. We'll be back with you guys at the top of the hour, so you got about 6 minutes or so.
Rockstar, you won't get far. I know you're confused. People tell you can be anything you wanna be. Wanna go to outer space, superhero in the streets. Oh man, what a life, what a time to be alive. How have I survived? Life's a battlefield. 1974. I think I'm going insane. I'm feeling crazy. Can't get it out of my head. Oh no, if the devil inside takes hold, then I just might wind up dead. Wasted, face it. You're never gonna be the one. Rockstar, you won't get far, but at least you had fun. People tell you you can be anything you wanna be, a king or a queen, as long as you got a dream. Oh no, it's a lie. They just wanna take your life, try to tell you it's a battlefield. People tell you you can be anything you wanna be, wanna go to outer space, superhero in the streets. Oh man, what a lie, what a time to be alive. How have I survived? Life's a battlefield. 1974.
Baby, I just wanna be alone. I don't need your company, stop blowing up my phone. You don't get the things that I've been through, and I don't have the time to lay it all in front of you. And you think that you wanna save me. You don't know it, baby, why you do this? I got this under control. You think you do, but you really don't know that I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. No, I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. But you really don't know that I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. No, I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. No, I don't need a savior. You can't be my savior. I'll save myself. I'll save myself. I stand back and I watch you explore in perfect visions like I've been here before. Falling faster, I try to ignore. I see you, I see you. I'll let you drag me to hell if you hold my hand. Tell me this is real and it will never end. This is not what I came here to find. Memories show that I'm out of time. See a shadow, don't know if it's mine, but I see you, I see you, I see you, I see I'll let you drag me to hell if you hold my hand. Tell me this is real and it will never end. Way too many faces in the crowd, but I think that I see you. One too many days got me changing up the way that I need you. Now we're both at a bar, acting like it's not hard, trying to feel something different. Talk to somebody new, kinda wish it was you, kinda numb to the feeling. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months and I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't seem to.
Hello and welcome back, folks. Short break it was indeed. FBI Tugboat, Pyro J. We got our D8 match out of the way. That was Mount Vernon taking it down 4-1 fashion against the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth Corsairs. And now we get into the middle meat of this broadcast schedule. Yes, D1 coming up right here between Indiana Tech A and Northwoods U. Pyro, there is a significant amount of history between these two teams.
Yeah, I think Northwood has a significant history in the collegiate space. That is definitely true. Indiana Tech and Northwood, in terms of this fall semester, do have some history. So in the regular season, Northwood had that 4-1 advantage over Indiana Tech. So Northwood kept their status on top of Indiana Tech, but it didn't suit the same way in the playoffs. That winners finals matchup was won over in a sweep fashion from Indiana Tech. So Northwood not only had to beat Cumberland and Concord on their way to face Indiana Tech, but then defeat Cumberland again in that lower final. So it's been a gauntlet from Northwood. They're coming up from that lower bracket. They've not just have to win this match, but the next match. They have to bracket reset if Northwood want to be the champions of Division 1 for NECC Tugboat. It is quite the matchup indeed, as Tech have that big advantage.
Absolutely, absolutely. So looking at Indiana Tech as well, what started off with a 4-2 victory over Fisher College varsity in the first part of the bracket, 4-1 over Ole Miss. So honestly, like it's been an absolute gauntlet, like you said, for Northwoods. Previous match between them was a 4-3 against Concord as well, that number 2 seed. So they've really had to face against the cream of the crop everywhere you look.
Yeah, Northwood, I mean, they're used to going through the gauntlet. Just wrapped up at top 4 in the fall championship for CRL. They're looking to be the top dogs when it comes to NECC, but they're gonna have their work cut out for them. It's Reshiram for the first.
Yeah, a nice job right here, just kind of being exactly where they needed to be. This also does kind of take a little bit of a bias bounce there for the Indiana Tech A. See if that luck continues here. Basically off of kickoff. Nice win. Sends us to the corner. Hockey's going to be able to pick this one up, and looks like they're going to be able to bring it out like a little bit. No, a bouncing ball low. Forces the hand of a defender, and another Northwoods player can't quite get on top of it. Finally, they get it. A little possession. Tries to work this thing through the air, and Blue is going to send it flying back the other way.
Starts to feel like for Northwood, those European import teams tend to be a problem for them. Full European descent from these Indiana Tech players. I believe it's England from Reshiram and Bluey. And, Reshiram is going to be the one to score the second goal already. First minute, they're firing away, Doug.
They really are. Bluey does the most of the work, let's be honest. I could get that shot all the way inside.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, like, with D1, D2 stuff, I see stuff every single game, but it's like, yeah, I can never do that. But rest assured, folks, we just watched a D8 match. There's most of the stuff even in that match that I don't think I could really do with hundreds of hours of Rocket League under, so this just goes to show just how much skill there's involved here, the top echelons of these NECC competitions. More of a methodical stop and then clear right here as Northwoods now bring this one out. Bluey challenges a little bit, but it'll be picked up by Zanil.
Quick correction, by the way, from my standpoint there. Velocity and Bluey are the English players, and Reshiram is the French player, but all of them are dusted on this interaction. Creams sets up for hockey.
It's a great job right here from that corner out. It's going to be... Wait. Hockey got the goal. 2-1. Okay.
Yeah, first 2 from Indiana Tech. Northwood finally respond on really one of their first possessions. I mean, listen, this is going to be a long matchup if we're already trading blows like this. Really knockout blows for either team. And hockey might just find the gap again. No, that one's sealed by the defense of Indiana Tech as they're going to work their way across the other side.
Bouncing ball. Hockey kind of coming up to it. Resch actually giving him what hit there 4-2. It's a dual demo right here. Bluey, a nice stop, and even better defensive cut there from Creams. Keep those offensive opportunities away. Everybody kind of came back for Northwoods, and it was a quick cleanup. Now Creams Send this one out, meeting it there, nicely done. Resh gets around, Creams comes in like a heat-seeking missile and almost gets the aerial demo.
I gotta respect it. The effort there from Creams to lock into that ball and make sure that it's put away. Northwood don't want to be under the gun of another 2-goal deficit. In fact, they could close out right here. They could equalize. Zanil gets a good dunk on that 50-50. Hockey is able to follow it and find a teammate in Creams on the other side. So quickly to close the gap is Indiana Tech. They set that ball up in the midfield. Had to be intercepted quickly. It was looking like dangerous territory for the ball to be in. Yeah, corner slot goes saved. Hockey able to relieve the pressure with the demolition. And that should allow Northwood to top up, back on boost. Trying to get this ball out.
Take it to the numbers ever so briefly. We have 11 shots attempted here from Indiana Tech, only 5 on the other side. What is that? 7 shots saved. Northwoods, their work being cut out for them so far. Sends this one to the top. Members of Northwoods have a couple of seconds to try and recollect themselves. But Velocity dealing with this ball over here in a situation, let's just be honest, Indiana Tech really has not been on the defensive side of this ball very often in this game.
No, but they certainly have to be now. That's Velocity going to position himself in for a long ball shot that goes in from the other side. Northwood left stranded.
This is like 4/5 of the pitch all the way across as well. I understand what Northwood is doing. They're just cheating up a little bit more of that offensive side to try and get a goal-tying finish there. Try and maybe take this in overtime if they need to, but instead, 2-1 bleeds into a 3-1 quickly. Now, this dangerous lead in Rocket League, of course, is too. No time to rest on your laurels, but sub 60 in just a second here for the side of Northwoods. They'll have to put together an offensive drive and then do it again, and that's just got a lot harder.
Yeah, I gotta say, Northwood looking like a very vulnerable team here.
Yeah.
In game number 1. I mean, position for that near-sided save, but demolished on the blocking effort, the leading block effort done by Indiana Tech. They're just ready to bulldoze their way through every single goal that they can. This is a great look, by the way, from Reshi. Looking for Bluey on the other side. And again, I mean, it doesn't go in, but still a bit lackluster on the defensive side from Northwood.
It could have been a lot cleaner. This is, of course, like hanging out on the other side, so it was a quick clear afterwards, but they need a lot more than that, and they need more time with which to do it. 30 seconds right now, a goal every 10. That's just to tie it up, Pyro J. And that's just got a hat trick.
Add it to the tally.
15 total shots, man.
Yeah. Yeah, 33% on shooting percentage is some fantastic work as well from Indiana Tech. I mean, things that just went from bad to worse for Northwood. And when you look at it in the context of the winners finals, they have a lot of reassurance for this team that's needed out of Northwood. 5 straight losses in the playoffs against Indiana Tech means that a huge comeback is going to be needed in the finals.
Yeah, the best way to look at it is like this. Northwoods needs to take 8 games, right? Obviously 4 in each series, and so they really have even less wiggle room given that it's the bracket reset situation. And Indiana Tech, coming in from the top side and coming in from the top side because they 4-0'd this team. Now, color be surprised. I would not have anticipated this final scoreboard, both with the 5-1 scoreline and with Northwoods with only 6 shots and 5 of those only coming out from one player. You shut down like one player, okay, I can see that. But shutting down Creams and Zanil, these are generally going to be some real heavy-hitting, offensive-minded players.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, you can't doubt the offensive powerhouse that Northwood University shows off themselves to be. Now, they do tend to be that team that will go lockstep with you, right? If they have to win a game 1-0 or 2-1, then they certainly will, but you need to have your defense fortified at that point. You can't be giving up endless amounts of possession. 15 shots. You're just not going to win a game unless it goes into like overtime of 6 minutes. That is pure and utter domination in terms of field control from Indiana Tech. So if that's the way they're getting started, the adjustments certainly have to be made by Northwood. Some other little detail that I wanted to pull out of that is you mentioned Hockey had a majority of the shots, one of the goals for the team. That player in particular scored 0 goals in the match where they got swept by Indiana Tech in
Wow.
that winners finals. So it's interesting to see that that's the only player so far on the board for Northwood.
Yeah, so maybe a little bit of a changing of the themes right there, but yeah, man. I mean, if you're allowing 15 shots to your opponents, you'd better be chalking up 15 saves, because these are just insurmountable numbers no matter what level of Rocket League you go forth and do, unless you're playing a 15-minute game or something like that. I don't know, Twiro. Zanil puts this down bottom, tries to get it to the middle, and it's a quick cut from Bluey. Takes it up the side, and I think tried to get this back down, but a Northwoods player was waiting in the wings, just play that physical role here. Nobody in the middle. Zanil, a wise decision. I think there's a very, very wise decision. That was actually hockey there. So realize that they were the last player back. If they don't cheat up or they don't challenge up for this one, right? Because they just know that if they don't miss this, and if it is anything but a ball going back the other way, that's going to be a goal. And this goal right here from hockey, assisted by Creams, is literally in existence because they were able to maintain possession. If that ball goes the other way and they line up, there's no way that this just ends up like this again, Pyro.
Yeah, it comes down to midfield presence, and that's it. The game was won over handily there by Northwood. Gathered enough space and domination of that area to hand off the give and go. So they're going to seal the deal with that maneuver each and every time if the space is provided. Speaking of providing space, though, Reshiram just took it coast to coast. The flip reset air dribble and nearly had the go-ahead goal.
Nice.
That's going to be a 2-goal lead. Zanil slots it.
There you go. A little bit more of a return to normalcy and what we've come to expect from this Northwood squad. This is about a half-pitch shot that finds pay dirt on the backside. Creams with a pair of assists, actually with more points than both of his teammates, who do not have even though he does not have the goal. Kickoff goes the way of Northwoods yet again. Velocity just getting chewed up in the backside by Zanil as they were just trying to get it in. That's decently slotted. Going to hit this out, but take from the corner. Northwoods does. Hockey, their turn to take possession for a couple of seconds, going backwards for just a little while. But these are higher level Rocket League teams, Pyro, and they're really comfortable, with the backwards passes.
Yeah, higher level, highest level, whatever you want to call them here in the collegiate space. That's where they're at. And they're not afraid to go up high for the ball as well. That redirect pass nearly to Zanil would have given them their third. And I think that was dished up by Creams. I like that you mentioned he's on the top of the scoreboard because he's up there for a reason, even with 0 goals. Found the passes to Hockey, to Zanil on those counterattack plays to secure them 2 goals. That's where Indiana Tech have to worry the most is the counterattack. This time Creams takes care of it himself.
He didn't like us talking about no goals, top of leaderboard. No, time for me to get one of mine. 100% goal participation in this game. Number 2 from Creams, 2 assists and a goal to boot.
Northwood trying to give Indiana Tech the boot in game number 2. And that may be the most diabolical way to do it.
Hits off the corner right here, and just a tiny little tipper, a bouncing ball over. And that was Reshi that didn't want to hit their teammate in such a way that they lose control of their car and then own goal, right? The efforts there. Kickoff 1, Zanil coming in, and it's another bouncing ball, but the follow-up there, too high, and Resh gets it on the defensive save. So, well, there's another shot right there. I was going to say that the kickoff woes here for this Indiana Tech squad are over with. Well, finally, after about 30 seconds and a couple defensive saves, they are.
Cream's going to have something here. This one played back to Hockey. And Zanil going to cover this ball. I mean, it's just going to be tried and true Rocket League out of Northwood here. No risks necessary, but Zanil an opportunity for a goal there. It's 50 down away to the corner. For Indiana Tech, you kind of just want to lay the groundwork. You want to return to form. You want something that is a glimmer of that dominant streak in game 1 that you just had.
Decent little clear here from Zanil. Tries to follow it up with a demo, and these two teams are just playing tennis right now. Volley, serve, and this is to the detriment of Indiana Tech. Down by 4 every 10 seconds or so is it 10 seconds you desperately need still in that hourglass, man.
It's emptying too quickly. demolition play from Creams. Going to extinguish one. Hockey flipping in for the bumps, or at least forcing the hand of the defense from Indiana Tech. Zanil, neutral hop to get that second touch and play some corner ball out with Bluey. Bluey unable to resource up with that full container. Abuso's teammate has to top up instead. This is the air dribble, nearly the ground pinch from Creams. All left for Hockey. And they play it off the ceiling. Now, this ball may not be entering the net, but it is doing an immaculate job of playing keep away against Tech.
Yeah, they really are. Bouncing ball, didn't quite see the defender there. Thought it might have been a little bit more open, but it's just a methodical block. Louis back to the corner, is trying to get this one down and centered, man, but ball just, as soon as it hits this backboard, goes around the corner, just gets hit so high up, you can't even get an angle on it. It's great defense here from Northwoods. Honestly, categorically different from what we saw before. Finally finds one, Louis does, but, I mean, just like we said about Northwoods, 3 scores, 40 seconds, this is really, really tough for any team to do at these D1 levels.
It is. I think at this point, Indiana Tech just chip away a little bit at that momentum. A first goal is going to be so important in this game, just to mentally reset you. That almost reset the goal differential at 4, but kickoff is saved. And a little bit of their mental saved in the process.
Great scoop and shove right there from the defense. That's how you transition a ball from your own side into the next. Zanil going for a backwards hit on it and was just going to go against backward and end up in a pass. Velocity getting through the offender right there. A great job and a good physical play by Northwoods. Try and make this defender a non-issue. 10 seconds ago, the scoreline has not changed, but teams just don't give up. So that strikes 0 and plus beyond.
I'll tell you what, some teams, they wait to pull the rabbit out of the hat till the end, but Northwood decided game 2 was the time. Let those tricks up their sleeve. It's like they were hiding the confidence, the skill set, the wherewithal to collapse on Indiana Tech, and brought it out in this game alone. I think if there's one player just to talk about here in this game, Tugboat, it's the glue of the squad. It is Creams, the playmaker title there with 3 assists. You can remember those first 2. The first one was that give and go with Hockey in the midfield. The second one was that long downfield pass to Zanil, who had an effortless shot off the sidewall to sink it. When this team links up, when they're playing on one thread, they're tough to beat.
Really are. Goes to stand as well. 7 shots attempted by that one Creams player, 5 from the entirety of Indiana Tech. That's not getting into save territory either. Like, yes, okay, so I can see as Zanil 0 saves. Well, there's just not. I mean, there's only 5 shots attempted on the other side, and with a pair of saves there from Hockey, and even more from Creams doing everything. I mean, middle position, like you said, 3 assists, right? Got a goal as well. Was constantly playing physically and demoing, and some saves. You don't get a more rounded player than you do with Creams in this game too that we just saw.
Can expect it all from Creams, but can you expect Northwood to take the eventual win in the matchup? 1 game is something. 4 games is what champions are born of. And, well, 4 games would be the halfway mark for Northwood. If Tech can turn it around, 4 games will be all they need, as they did qualify through the upper bracket into this matchup. We'll get the game 3 going just as soon as everybody rejoins the lobby, which we finally have. So, tied up in the series, Tugboat 1-1. It's anyone's ball game. Let's get back to it.
Yeah, if there's like one little thing I'd differentiate between these two, for Northwoods, you got to continue this kickoff prowess. Like, that last half of game 2 was completely controlled by them in a situation where Northwoods, or with Indiana Tech, always wants to maintain initial possession off of a kickoff. On the other side here, Indiana Tech, yes, obviously, like, forcing that to be a non-issue, but also just get the passing plays in and let velocity cook, because that's what I was getting with this. I'm glad they shot right there, because when you're talking about, like, insane angles, not just, like, right in front of net and beating a defender, ooh, that pinch was almost dangerous, but velocity just seems like they've been able to get it done from any part of the field.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's almost unsurprising from Velocity. This is a player that I not only know from the collegiate space more recently, but the RLCS SSA space as well. One of the import players that took advantage of the Lakitu thirds role of the professional league and grab some wins at the professional level. They were a hard carry for their squad, and with what Velocity is able to do with their mechanical display at such a fast speed, I agree with you, Tug. If Tech are looking to get back into this, give the rock to him.
Man, oh man, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 demos in the past 2 seconds or so. Let me tell you, yeah, that's a part of this game plan here for Indiana Tech. Get in there, demo early after you positively influence the momentum of this ball. If it ends up being a bump, that is acceptable. A little bit of pressure here for one of the first times against Indiana Tech. Zanil and the rest of Northwoods just trying to get this ball centered and get his teammates another opportunity. Tries to walk the dog themselves. That is not going to happen against 3 Indiana Tech defenders.
That's not the read Creams was looking for on the play against Reshiram. And all it takes is one mistake there on the sidewall, and you let Resh loose.
Yeah, Hockey realizes it right there. That's a little bit of that split, like, so they realize that there's another offender down bottom who's primed for the pass, and they kind of split the decision between the two. If they go to sidewall, then like they might have had an opportunity on both, but that is also super easy to say. Hindsight 2020.
No way.
Oh my God! And they go from corner to corner.
Oh, this is nasty work. Velocity thinks he has the gap closed, but Creams finds Zanil on the other side, and at that point, you just gotta lock in and hand the bag over. What a set play for Northwood to tie it up.
Insane stuff. Insane stuff. When you see this ball not travel like below, like the top line, like it's pretty much just occupying space up there like it has wings and still goes in, you know that what you just saw was absolute Rocket League greatness. And Neil, without a whole lot of boos to be spoken of, still forces the hand of a defender. Back to the corner, Reshi does after a player gets sent flying towards the middle, down low. Nobody really there for Velocity to get the ball to.
Aki's got 0 boost, but is looking for Creams. Gets the pass off. That shot deflected by Bluey. Savior medal earned. Bluey definitely get the reps in on the defensive line. Hockey's going to spin right on this and try to capitalize on an open midfield play, but it's knocked away. Zanil takes advantage off the backboard. Saved by the defense. And Bluey's left alone with nearly an open play, but this goes around the other way. Resh just gets the angle to get it out of harm's way.
Bro, if Resh hits this to the left anymore, then that's essentially just a long-winded pass to the offender. If he gets to the right anymore, it's an own goal. That is perfectly slotted, and this high-flying defense continues to strike.
Oh, Hockey, the lead blocker, gets Bluey to get bumped. And Hockey's got to spin back around for this ball. Barely able to get a touch on it. That one bounces towards the net, and Velocity still holding their ground on the defensive side. As you can tell, Indiana Tech unwilling to give up the lead as they did in the last game. In fact, they might just take it back.
It's literally exactly what you just said, Pyro. Just the tiniest of mistakes, right? This comes off, and he gets way too much under it. It hits the ceiling and pops right down perfectly in front of net. Bluey is going to feast on those all day long.
That's right. An opportunistic team is Indiana Tech. You let a little bit by them. Say you give an inch, they'll take a mile. They're looking to get some mileage out of that go-ahead goal and win this game by 1, maybe 2 if they have to. That ball cleared to the other side for Creams to take up. Cooks their pinch a little bit lighter than he was looking for, I think.
It's been big score differences so far. Creams keeps the dream alive. And again, it's just the most minor of mistakes. Defenders are forced to come in and play this one, and he comes off the sidewall just like, a quarter of a second too early.
Yeah, I got to hand it to Creams because normally going for the double there is insane, but it's actually the only way to get past the defense, which has the read on the shot. And not only to discern that that's the best path to the goal, but then to do it with the Roadhog, that's just another level of greatness.
See if those levels of offensive prowess are able to continue right here. Taking a look at the numbers, there's really not a whole big difference. 11 shots, Northwoods taking a look at 7 right now for Indiana Tech. So maybe a little bit, but as you can see, score difference not going to be any difference. That's just shot attempts.
It's Neil left with this one. Closing in on a potential overtime. That ball was left for Resh, but Zanil had the lock in on it. Creams shadowing velocity, allowing Zanil to fill the gap on the rotation. And it's bad pre-jump out of Creams. It's open for velocity and Bluey to link up and take the lead at the perfect moment.
Bro, it was velocity that I was talking about, and it is going to be velocity on the assist right here, so I really do feel vindication from that. But Bluey, here's the stats. 5 shots, 3 goals, and 6 saves. Bluey has the same amount of saves as Northwoods does as an entire team.
Yeah, that 864 score is nothing to bat your eyes at, or roll your eyes at even. It's one to be impressed by, but hold on.
Whoa.
The big Road Dog still got something to say.
So Creams hits this from like 3/4 pitch. That's a miss, and there's nobody on the defenders. Neil is actually badgering. Okay, so a hat trick Creams, a hat trick Bluey. We're basically reset and primed to go to overtime.
Very well. Hand it over. Northwood. Wait, can you secure OT, though? Hockey's the last defender. Velocity plays it around him.
Yeah.
And Cream says, enough of that, please. Give me extra time.
Yeah. They did not like how that was turning out after Northwoods took the advantage
nice
off
pass.
a kickoff.
I like this kickoff link up.
Yep.
It's in for Northwood. Look at the connection. Creams had left it for the rotation on the kickoff. Gave the rock to Zanil, and well, he took care of the rest.
Yeah, you watch that unfolding there, Pyro. As soon as the pass comes infield, and once again, I mean, it's just the most minor of mistakes yet again that leads to a score difference. The very, very end of this one, defender just can't quite turn and flip into this. Offender has their way with the net. First non-multi-score differential, right? This is 5-1 in game number 1, 4-1 game number 2 for Northwoods. This is going to be the first time one of these teams string 2 games together.
I think Indiana Tech's going to feel like that one was stolen from them as well. I mean, they had the lead going into the final 10 seconds of the game. You get one midfield flub. You let Creams beat you with the Roadhog. Now the mental's down because, I mean, for Tech, right? Almost any collegiate team is not going to be rated as highly as Northwood is with how consistently high they perform, with even how well Hockey Creams and Zanil perform at the RLCS level, right? So when you're getting wins against Northwood, you're feeling on top of the world. Your mental's as best as it can be. And then Creams enters a meme car, forces OT with that vehicle, and then beats you in the game. There has to be a mental and a physical reset from Indiana Tech and an ability to close out these wins because they had the chance to do it in the last game.
Okay.
They'll have the chance to do it in this one now as well.
We can once it switches perspective, you'll see. So Velocity sees this as soon as Zanil turns back towards their net, then they know there's no way they're going to be able to get vertical. It's just a little pop right over the top. And defender gets nothing more than a front row seat to this goal. So, 3 goals in the past, well, excuse me, actually 4 goals in the past 27 seconds of Rocket League, Pyro.
Now that is maddening. It is terrifying, honestly, for any defense, as it feels like it's pedal to the metal, and it certainly is. And Neil had a wonderful shot lined up. It was just Reshiram that had the read to really get up there in time to make the block happen. So we almost saw a 5th goal in 40 seconds, Tugboat. We were so close.
We really were. And I mean, we're chuckling a little bit because these are high-level teams, and generally, I mean, a 2-1, 3-0 maybe, 0-1 all the time. These are more standard D1 ending Rocket League scorelines after 5 minutes. Been much, much higher scoring on the day. That was an earlier one here for the side of Indiana Tech. A little bit of offense for Northwoods. Creams tries to put this against the backboard, and it looked like it was an attempted pass, but it not really ended much. And Hockey blocks their teammate's shot. That is a feels bad ban.
Yeah, listen, what can you do at this point but dust the dirt off your pants and just try again, right? Listen, you're just down 1 in a game where these have been tight-knit matches, and you just need another chance at greatness. Zanil.
So it's kind of a random hit there from Bluey, and I'm not sure if they thought the defense or the offender down bottom was going to be able to get low and under this one. Again, minor mistake, and it's going to get punished immediately. That's what we always talk about these high-level teams, right? Great teams to capitalize upon mistakes and always recognize immediately when they're being committed.
That's right. You've
Nice.
got to have an eye on the prize. And listen, when there's open space to take advantage of too, you got to do that as well. Creams just loses that 50. Did a great job of staying behind the ball, but you need support there after. Perfect positioning there from Indiana Tech to get their lead.
Lead back to it. 3 scores, 90 seconds or so. Hockey wins that one, sends it back on over. That's a random ball. This could be a pass just as easy as shot, but it's a huge clear the other way, and Resch is going to take up the mantle. Reset, perfectly cornered, top post and in. 2 shots, a score, an assist, a save. This is Resch doing everything right now.
I mean, what's insane about that goal is that Reshiram wasn't even coming at the right angle with that ball. He had to hit it with a diagonal undercarriage to coordinate his car and the ball in the right direction. Then pick up the reset. So many intricacies to that individual play that allowed for the goal for Tech. Reshiram feeling about as good as he possibly could be in this Rocket League game.
You got to. I mean, it was Bluey in the previous game that really turned it on for the squad. Velocity a lot more so towards the beginning of this one, but Creams is not to be ever understated or underestimated.
Yeah, check out the pass from Zanil. I mean, that is light work from this player. Listen, Northwood have played together for so long, and you'd think, well, a pinch pass, I mean, nobody's expecting that, right? Think again, right? Don't call out plays like that. They played together long enough that they can communicate, hey, be mid in a split second, and they'll already be there because they move on one thread. A necessary goal for Northwood to stay in Game 4.
Ooh, a hit off of the top right there for Creams, but this is going back the other way. A little bit too high. Creams another attempt. No, actually kind of flattens this one out and turns into a pass to Neal. So this is either a bad offensive attempt or a great pass. No, that's a pass. That's off the wheels. That's fantastic.
That was lovely. Yeah, and listen, with Creams in Game 2 being the playmaker, being the one to make those incredible assists, we watch that replay and we're like, oh yeah. Creams was thinking, not even thinking twice really about that pass. So wonderful facilitation once again from Creams to get Northwood nearly back in the driver's seat. We're all tied up at the halfway mark after just a minute ago when it looked like Tech were running away with it.
Gotta agree with you. 5 total shots here from Zanil by themselves. They've really put that mantle of offense on their backs, but Resch is doing the same damn thing. 3 goals, that's a hat trick.
Big Hockey was looking for the same kind of pass that Creams had, down in front to a teammate. It went to somebody. That somebody just was not on their team. And Indiana Tech are going to take those every single time. As we mentioned, they're a team that will punish even the slightest of mistakes. Northwood back down by 1.
7 scores is what we got in our previous game, a game that would go into overtime, short as that overtime might have been. So if you like scoring, this is the D1 Grand Finals for you, my friends. Velocity, trying to get in a position across the middle, maybe hit a defender. Zanil, maybe with an opportunity. He's been cooking so far this game. Hit dead ball right side. Tries to get back to the corner. Hockey does, but completely taken away from possession. There, Resch. Across the middle, sends it back down the other way.
Hockey just going for the physical play there. Creams, I thought he'd have more time with that ball, had the full boost, and look at him make the decision to reserve that boost. He allows Hockey to steal the resources. That means we're low on boost for Indiana Tech on the other side. Reshi really the only player with resources to make a play happen, and boy, do they ever completely diffuse an otherwise lethal attack from Northwood. He's continuing to interfere. Resch has not left his orange half in a bit, not even to get boost. Moves out to Hockey's, and Neal's going to be the one with the shot, but he's a little ahead of the ball. That one goes by the wayside.
Goes up to it. Nice win on the chow there by Hockey, but it just bounces his ball back down, and Bluey is going to be the one that sends it way cleared. A little bit too fast, though, so they weren't able to maintain any sort of possession. What control from Creams! Every time this guy goes up into the air, nobody knows what's going to happen.
You haven't seen a Roadhog like this. Certainly not in the finals of a top-tier collegiate showing. This is nasty work out of Creams. The pop reset to get it over the last He's equalized in the final minute again, Tugboat.
Yeah, and this has got to feel like the beginning of a bad dream that they've seen before. Indiana Tech has Velocity with a solid opportunity right there, but just really hasn't been connecting on the ball like we saw a little bit earlier. And like I said, that we really need to see from this Indiana Tech squad to come out, put their best foot forward. Velocity, speaking of, learns all the boost to get there, and it's a double commit. Down bottom, one player in position, the other two are not quite yet. Creams just doesn't like the look of it, sends it way back the other way. Last bounce territory. Northwoods can do it! Oh, so close.
Yeah, they were in search of that little redirect under the net. Northwood aren't going to come up with it. Tech are going to have the advantage coming off the kickoff, though. Velocity misses the ball. What an opportunity to put this OT to bed on an individual play off the ground there, but one little mistake is going to stop that effort. Neil just can't get the exit, though. That's Reshiram back in rotation. The redirect is missed. Creams forced to play low, and he's going to feel very fortunate that Resh didn't have the read.
Those two just minor misplays, both of the offensive opportunities. Bluey twisting and turning across the middle to try and pull this defense off to one side. Not going to happen, at least for a few seconds, as Hockey's able to get it. Nice pass. This one's just a little bit too high and left. Continues on, so ball lives in the corner until Creams redirects it back middle. Down low, and I got to say, Indiana Tech has been cheating up a whole lot in this overtime so far.
Yeah, I respect it because some of these infield passes have been the perfect look, but all over it right now is Northwood. They've seen these infield passes coming through. The interceptions have been really clean. The vision out of Northwood, very professional. In a moment like this, it is necessary. One little play could lead to a win here in overtime. And it's golden goal territory,
Nice.
and Zanil on the opponent's backboard is in the exact territory where he thrives.
Fantastic. Zanil just reads this so early and is behind every member of Indiana Tech. Once they look over the shoulders and see him off of the sidewall here, we all knew what was happening. 9 scores. 9 scores, people. We're just going up and up and up. Started off with 6 total, went to 5, now 7 in overtime, now 9 in overtime. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Shots attempted. This is not really where the difference in this game came in, I don't feel like. What is that? 12 for the side of Northwoods into an extended overtime, 9 for Indiana Tech, and a lot of these were quality. 9 total shots for them, made them in, obviously. 5 saves for Northwoods.
Talk about, I know you said we're going up and up. You know, we had 3 to 4, just had 4 to 5. Next, we might have 5 to 6. I just want us to be careful about the direction we're going. That is dangerous territory if we get that far. So we'll see. We'll see. But no, 9 goals is absurd in the game of Rocket League, and it is a call to arms for both teams. It is a question for both teams to take a breath after this game and say, okay, what are we doing? Either offensively to be giving up counterattacks like that, or just in the defensive rotation to allow our boost to get constantly stolen, to put us in those vulnerable positions, or to try to stop the playmakers. So, I'm going to call it out again. Creams has just directed so much successful looks. Where this Northwood team has been the most clutch player on the squad in those late game moments. That's the guy you got to stop if you can.
Wow, more methodical play right here. One goes for it, total whiff. Second goes for it, total whiff. One defender back, and Velocity can't do it all by them while they're lonesome. I really hope this ain't the case, but it might seem like a little bit of the mental factor coming in against Indiana Tech right now. They know how good this squad is, and they know they just 4-0'd them in the upper finals, but they also know that wasn't the end of this Division A bracket.
Yeah, if you're tuning in now and you weren't here at the beginning for us to explain it, just going to mention it again because it's a very important detail here in the NECC finals. There's an upper and lower bracket. These teams already played in the winners finals. Indiana Tech, as Tugboat just mentioned, did win in a sweep. But that was not the end of the road for Northwood. They're here in the lower bracket, meaning they have to win this match and then another one to be crowned the champions of NECC. And in order to do that, Tugboat, they've got to stop shots like this.
Yep, completely agreed. And this felt like it felt like if Northwood gets a second one when they're up 3-1 in this series, then it's almost like a darn it, clap your hands together, shake them off. and just go on into the reset, go into the bracket reset. But as it is, it's just got a lot easier for Indiana Tech to bring this one back from what must feel like the brink.
Yeah, listen, for Tech, they're going to do everything they can to win this championship in convincing fashion. That means doing it in the very first match that is presented to you. They've already proven that they can defeat Northwood in a game. They've already proven that they can honestly beat Northwood in nearly every game in this series. We just wrapped up a couple overtimes in which in the final minute, Indiana Tech went into the final minute of game time with the lead. So they just got to close on their chances. Northwood, though, they are that kind of final boss of collegiate, though, for a reason.
Oh, yeah. Just the clutch kings of collegiate, I'm telling you. There doesn't really seem to be the same issues when it comes to closing, and what that tells me, nice pass, completely bit onto this one. Creams, once again, when they go up top, you know what's going to happen. Creams actually gets this one down to teammate Zanil. Previous goal was Zanil lurking on the backboard. Wasn't able to get behind these defenders like that, and it's another Northwoods lead.
That one's even more ridiculous than the last one that Creams put up, because the last one he was able to pre-jump off the ceiling and hit him mid-air. But this time Creams started that play from the ground, got the reset off the ceiling to get the pass from Zanil. I mean, I usually credit Hockey and Creams for being on the same wavelength, but right now, Creams and Zanil on these aerial give-and-goes, plays you rarely see in Rocket League. Yeah, this is astounding.
I mean, just because it's so difficult to put the ball back exactly where it just came from, right? And especially, you know, having to do that moving calculus behind that player being flying through the sky at the moment, right?
Yeah.
Backwards pass, this might be dangerous. Nah, so didn't quite get in front of this ball before it continued its trajectory to the other side. Bluey will be on a respawn for a couple of seconds. His velocity might have a little bit of an opportunity. Neil has got plenty of boost. That's a dangerous ball right across the middle and now foisted back to the middle.
There's something about those huge plays from Northwood that, whether or not Creams is in a Roadhog or not, you can tell they're having fun, right? And that seems to be an element of these Rocket League players, right? In these tense moments, in these situations where you have to be clutch, can you be calm? Can you remain calm under pressure? And I think having fun in the game, Tugboat, might be the best way to keep that composure.
Well, that's a good point. If you're having fun, like you're actively having fun, you don't really have time to worry about, oh, what could happen if, right? You don't have time to worry about, you know, how you're going to feel upon a loss or anything else like that. So I have to agree with you here, Pyro. I'm getting a little angry, a little physical here as Resh and the rest of Indiana Tech A. And this was physical play that ruled the day and brought them to a couple of really close games, would-be games they'd gone forth not to win in overtime, but Neil yet again, man. This is just insane ball handling, right? So Creams puts this down bottom. Zanil with a couple of fakes.
Yeah, no, diabolical is the only word that comes to mind for me for that play. Zanil just let everyone fly right by, walked the dog, essentially. You couldn't pick a straighter path to the net if you were in free play for that one. He makes it look so easy. Talk about it, so easy for Zanil to score that he's going to do it again.
Yeah, easy peasy. A little bit of a breakdown defensively. There was a defensive whiff right there, kind of backwards flipping to this, and that just brought us way, way closer to a bracket reset and a full clean slate.
So 4-1 here for Northwood. They just won a couple games into overtime, but this one feels a little more overbearing than those other ones, unless we see a late game comeback. Talk about that is not happening. 5-1. Northwood are on a conquest of their own.
Indiana Tech as well, if they drop this game, that'll be 4 games in a row, right? Like, ideally, you lose the series 4-1. You want to have that game be somewhere in the middle, kind of similar to their previous matchups, Ole Miss and whatnot. This is just a slow burn that developed into a full-on bonfire for the side of Northwoods. This is exactly the scoreline that our Game 1 finished at, and for Indiana Tech A, this must feel like a long, long past memory.
Yeah, it certainly does, but I think even when Indiana Tech took that 4-0 win against Northwood in the winners finals, they kind of knew they'd be back. They had a feeling they'd see Northwood in the grand finals.
Fair.
and that they'd have to try to get this win yet again. Disgusting pass, by the way, from Zanil off the ceiling. Why not? We'll put that as maybe number 4 top play of the game. It's been that ridiculous showboating winning factor of Northwood so far in this game. But yeah, Tech are up against a challenge that they knew they'd have to best once again.
Yep, 30 seconds to go right here. Maybe try and put a couple more on the board. 4 and 30. 5 and 30, excuse me. Ugh, just to tie it up as well. Another attempt and another goal. Hockey and the rest of Northwood is going to maintain a lot of momentum going into this one. Hockey also has a hat trick and is still last by about 100 points on the squad, given that all 7 of these goals have been assisted from someone.
Team effort. We've got the aerial give and goes, the ceiling drop down passes, the player with a hat trick doesn't even have second place on the scoreboard. That is the kind of domination you come to expect sometimes with this team. 7-1 may be that final scoreline here, not only in this game, but this match. Northwood University put a clobbering on for game number 5 to win match number 1 of this grand finals. Bracket has been reset, and Northwood positioned to do it again.
Oh yeah, and also take a look at these. These are, so 9 total shots distributedly as evenly as they can. 5 saves. They did come out with Zanil not having any of those. Doesn't really matter. You have a hat trick for another side. No assists. We will forgive that, right? Given that 2 goals for either of those 2 other players, and they had at least 3 assists, Zanil, with 4 of them. This was an absolute shutdown play. Northwood's playing their game and not deviating from the game plan whatsoever. Not a letter. Not a single letter.
Yeah, this is fantastic. I mean, I'm truly impressed by Northwood University to respond in the way that they did. Indiana Tech's first win in this series was dominant. Maybe 5-1 Tugboat? Do you have a score on that win that Indiana Tech
in the
had?
game number 1? Yeah, so it was 5-1 in game 1. Yep.
5-1. I mean, it did not look like this is how it would end, especially after Indiana Tech did get that sweep against Northwood in the winners final. So Northwood really turned the tides in an impressive way. But folks, we're going to take a very short break before we get back to the action here. We are resetting this bracket. This match will continue, so you don't want to go anywhere. Keep glued right here to the NECC Rocket League Finals. See you in a short bit.
Laying on my floor, thinking about all the things that we've been through. From 24/7 to pretending like I never met you. No, it's all for the best, 'cause I know we're a mess every time we're together. Going out of my mind, and I wish I could lie, tell you that it gets better. Now that you're gone, they say time should heal, but it's been too long. Couple months where I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to move on. I can't seem to. I can't
Hello and welcome back, Rocket League fans. NECC D1 going down right now. FBI Tugboat Pyro J. Folks, if you're just now tuning in, I feel sorry for you. You just watched an insane bracket reset here from Northwoods after dropping game number 1 5-1. After that, they would answer with a 4-1 game number 2, 2 back-to-back overtimes, 3-4, 4-5, both going the way of Northwoods. The game number 5 right there ended in a lead early, and then just Indiana Tech abandoning all kinds of defense, just try to score. The end result was 7-1.
It was a clobbering at the end of it. You mentioned a good point, which is that Indiana Tech kind of had to throw the kitchen sink at it to try to score against Northwood, and that just made matters worse. But I agree with you. You know, folks missed out if they missed that first match. But you know what, Tugboat? It was so good that we just got to do it again. Bracket's been reset for Northwood. They come back from the lower finals with vengeance in their mind, ready to get match number 2 underway. The final NECC championship matchup here in the bracket reset of Indiana Tech and Northwood is on. Let's get to it.
Absolutely, absolutely. A trophy and undying honor and glory on the line here for the NECC. You don't get higher than D1 for Rocket League, my friend. Well, for any of the esports within the NECC. A little bit of a defensive tripping up. Almost an early one. Velocity showing up on the defensive side. We talked all day about their offensive prowess, Pyro.
They have an unbelievable ceiling when it comes to mechanics, and unfortunately in this matchup, it's seen its inconsistencies. Excuse me. What I'm trying to say is we'll see the best out of them, and we'll also just see some missed touches. I think because they're going for those sharp angles at all times. You want to try to make the best plays, Tugboat. Sometimes there's a cost to it.
It's entirely fair. Resh whips this one around. It gets way too high, just like a little bit too much space underneath it. Creams fills that space quickly, and that is how you transition from defense into an offense with even more vim and vigor. Bluey, pass to the middle. Creams reads it perfectly. He knows that author. He's checked out the book, has a library card.
I'm checking out Creams' car here. We went from the Roadhog to the Mantis. Maybe the tallest car to the flattest. What a transition that was. But kudos to Resh. Turned that ball on a dime to set up for Bluey's goal.
Indiana Tech A gonna be striking first here in the the Nationals here, the Grands and whatnot, but the bracket reset, so match number 2. Velocity. And chips into this one just a little bit too early. Blue is going to be able to help him forgive the mistake. A bouncing ball back to the middle, placed well by Northwoods, negates any real opportunity. Hockey, you can call that a forced hand of the defense, or you can call that Hockey barely getting there.
Hockey had it calculated the whole way, just like he's got this reset dunk pass to Zanil. That could have been a goal. That one as well from Creams, but it misses the mark. And I guess Indiana Tech will live to see another possession.
Hey, they will take it, especially with the mistakes that Indiana Tech have been committing on the defense. It seemed like they turn into a goal for Northwoods more often than not. Yeah, we'll get it how we live, dude. Hockey, confusing a lot of offenders right there and making it so that they just have to force it off to the right side. Velocity and the rest of Indiana Tech A should be happy to even have possession right now.
Yeah, it's been hard fought each and every one. This is a nice redirect out to Creams, but not going to be a first on the ball. Those aerial challenges have been swift from Indiana Tech, and that's important to diffuse the bomb that is so often Creams. On the attacking side, passing play on the inside from Hockey to Zanil will not go uncontested, as have been many of the shots from Northwood. Indiana Tech not giving Northwood really any room to breathe on these shots, as Northwood maybe are trying to make Indiana Tech bleed.
Hey, they'll give it up here. They'll sacrifice the body for these shots. Maybe there is a little blood on those controllers or something. No. 2 minutes to go right here. Bluey, again, just gets here a little bit too early. Pyro, what is the issue? It just seems like the last 1% of completing everything from long drawn-up passing plays that finally score to just like little movements right there that just need to be executed perfectly. It just seems like there's an issue here for Indiana Tech A, my man.
It's the desire to outpace Northwood, and sometimes that will help you because the Velocity nearly had a lightning fast double tap, but sometimes it will hurt you. Because you expend all your resources to get ahead of them that you have nothing left to get back. Hockey and Creams double up to take out that last defender and equalize.
Fantastic job, physical play, ruling the day, I should say. 105 seconds left in this one, tied ball game. If you watched the previous match, folks in chat, tell me if something seems a little bit similar here, Hockey. You can cue the Jaws music, blood in the water. They almost bit down on this one and found another. Picks up side boost. Hockey will be ready to go forth and feast upon this. But it's Daniil across the middle that's going to end up with a passing play. Tries for the wall pinch to get it off to the corner. Maybe a little bit more of a passing on their mind.
There's been an unrelenting possession here from Northwood. They just keep carrying on with these shots. And you'd think that one goes in. Rash had to take on 2 shot takers there from Northwood. But even with the expended resources from Northwood's side, it wasn't enough to score that go-ahead goal. This might be shot taker bumped away. Wrestling out. The offense is Indiana Tech, and they'll close the gap there as well.
We've started the conversation, so we continue it. Tell me how you think that ball's trajectory would have been influenced with, say, maybe a more meta car.
You know, it wouldn't. A Metacar would not pull off some of these other plays that Creams is doing. I'll give him that. And some of the redirects, some of the 50s. Listen, a flat, long car has its advantages and its disadvantages, and that is just the truth of these non-standard vehicles. That being said, you may see C6 vehicles in overtime as time is trickling down. It'll be a third on the set of matches we've seen today. If we get there, Zanil's gonna pass off the backboard. It goes right down.
Oh my!
And Hockey's got a handle on it. Northwood say no to overtime.
132 kilometers per hour. That is just shy of 100 miles an hour on that goal. Just right up close and personal shotgun blast. Some fantastic stuff. That is the. Excuse me. So this is similar to what they did in that game number 3 previously. Indiana Tech up 3-2. They get it in the very, very last second. I guess it was technically 2 seconds left for them to tie it up. They do. That was Creams. And then it's like 12 or 17 seconds or something like that in overtime. The Northwood would go forth and take this one down. Looking at 8 shots versus 12, I don't see a massive score. I don't see a massive differential there when you go forth and just tell me the score difference is 1 at the end. The problem continues here for Indiana Tech, man, and it's just closing. Like, I'm not sure if they're counting their chickens and be like, okay, well, overtime, how do we want to drop this kickoff? You got to get there first, guys, and it's a little bit... Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating, perhaps, I guess, right? Because it seems like it's the same issues over and over and over again. And I can understand. I think it was a great point. Trying to outpace an incredibly fast-paced team like Northwoods can be difficult, but it just seems like it's resulting in these tiny mistakes, man.
You can get there first. You certainly can, but it's going to cost you some positional mistakes, like we saw them get dusted on the counterattack, and some precision on the ball, like we saw them miss that finishing shot or that finishing factor. So pace can always be ramped up. It's about what you're costing in the end, and those meters just have to find a good balance for Indiana Tech if they want to come away with a victory. Heck, Doug, not just in the series, but in one of these games. Listen, Northwood are on a tear of their own as they continue to come up with these clutch goals and win them the games.
And I guess I shouldn't put this all on Indiana Tech because Northwood is an incredibly talented squad that is like forming these very, very tough positions into honest scoring opportunities, and half the time they're going in. Being able to, what is it, the Rumpelstiltskin, right? Spinning gold from straw. Perhaps a new name for Northwood University. Rumpelstiltskin U?
Yeah, I think they'll consider that. You know? They'll put that one in the suggestion box. As we'll see. Nothing about the gameplay change. That's for sure. No rebranding needed here. This has been hot from them. Resch is going to try to get a turnaround here, though. Air dribble bump won't go. Hockey's got the save.
Yeah, it was that last tiny little touch, that tiny little aerial bump like you were mentioning that almost found pay dirt here. Not going to be fooled as the defense. Back on down to the corner. This will be sent to the other side. Really went a little bit more horizontal with this. Resh does get the bicycle kick mid-50 attempt and downside. Oh my goodness. Another situation of just like a little bit of a different angle, and we'd see a point on the board here for Indiana Tech.
Certainly, that one, I don't even know if Resh realized that they would have a second chance at it off the backboard. So, fortunate just to have a touch on it. Would have been miraculous to convert it to a goal. But how about the pre-jump here? No surprise to see Creams try to flex on Indiana Tech once again. You call it cocky, but realistically, he's pulled off 2 aerial give-and-goes already in this game. Why not go for more? Still 0-0, 2 minutes into this game 2 of the bracket reset. And Zadil very comfortable and cool on the goal line.
A bouncing ball. Maybe it looked a little bit odd there for a second, but he nailed it. This, I mean, the game plan hasn't changed so much, and I like that. That means that neither of these squads are necessarily like categorically changing a game plan that has worked thus far to at least result in a non-scoring game. I mean, 8 total goals in the last game of the previous series, 9 in the previous, and 7 in the previous. That was game number 3. These are really high-scoring games. Ooh.
Yeah, well, hey, speaking of scoring, let's get another one on the board. This is nasty from Creams. Gets a reset off the ceiling. Decides not to even go for the shot. He just trusts his teammate to find this ball and get to the top corner. And you know, the closest person to defending that shot, the closest player to saving that goal, it was Creams.
It was Creams. Of course it was. On that that roundabout. What is the move called when you run up the backboard again?
It's either an in-and-out save or a squishy save.
Squishy save, gotcha. Almost squishy save there. Well, it's going to be Velocity and the rest of Indiana Tech. This play took about all of 4 seconds, but they've spent the better part of 3 minutes trying to find that first. We were at a tied situation about 10 seconds ago. We're at a tied situation again here. Now, the way that Creams is coming up to this, like, obviously we know that they have the moves, given that they have, like, I mean, crazy aerials in general, 2 of those give-goes, like you said. Every single time they go up, what that means is that you're, like, that Indiana Tech is forced to respect it, right? They have to send a player there early just based on the threat that this player poses. That's literally getting so much done without actually, like, really committing to any, like, offensive movement from an individual player. It's crazy effect to watch on the pitch.
It is. It's calling these guys to action again and again from Indiana Tech. And unless you're there to meet Creams with his next play, you're going to be left in the dust. He's been the facilitator of the day. He's been the pre-jumper of the day. And he's setting a orbit tone for what could be a tyrannical series out of Northwood against the fight that Indiana Tech are trying to wage. Minute to go in game number 2. And it could be one of the most important minutes in this double series of the night for Indiana Tech. It could be the chance for them to finally lay down a clutch play that could win them the game instead of Northwood.
Yeah, and team that scores next, kind of the same situation as we saw earlier. Team that scores next feels like they're going to go for it and take this game. And that just means so much more for Indiana Tech than it does for Northwoods, right? They have not won a game in 1, 2, 3, 5. This would be the 6th. If they lose this, it'll be the 6th game in a row they've lost in this series after 4-0ing this squad in the grand finals. Just got to finish. That's to the corner. Have to block it, and they do. Zanil, a crazy shot, and maintains the second. An even better block, and that's hockey on the attempt. Creams just trying to maintain possession across his back. That's an even better clear as Zanil looked for a second to try and pick up that corner. Doesn't even need it.
Ooh, smart ball there from Velocity just to get some distance on it and buy a little shred of time for his team. Find it on the other side as well. Ashiram unable to steal that boost. Now Creams has a full tank of boost with 5 seconds remaining. This is a death sentence here for Indiana Tech if we've ever seen it. The ball still doesn't reach the ground, so we just can't call game. Creams tries to keep it alive. It's a psycho attempt from Hockey. He'll miss the redirect. We will get a chance at the backboard on it. Zanil prepared for it, but can only hit it down. Another OT. Let's go.
Where else would we go, my friend? It was basically OT in the previous. We thought twice in 5 games of the previous match before this bracket reset. Of course, Indiana Tech coming from the top of that, but that doesn't matter anymore here, Pyro.
That's right. All that matters is the gameplay we see thereafter. Okay, that's a tough read off the backboard, but he times it pretty well. and he really needed to play protection on that ball because him and a teammate had 0 boost. They've been able to change that now. As Hockey's the one with boost. We'll coordinate this to the backboard. Finds Neil. Rash is waiting for this on the ground, but I don't know what kind of play he's waiting on because Northwood are all up on it. Hockey's to chase this down the other way and decides to play a little bit of keep away. Trying to bait the other team into playing the ball, saying, go ahead, try. They are able to get it past him, and Northwood haven't really exited their own half. Pinch play. Give and go. Nearly lands for Indiana Tech, but they'll come up dry on that possession at the end.
Yeah, Northwood's just so comfortable playing this to the corner, right? I mean, just using the space allotted to them, knowing that their defense can come up on the other side.
That's right. And that comfort level from Northwood. They just earned them a goal-scoring opportunity. Ground double. Nearly goes. Cream's had the right idea with the demolition as well. The goalie bump comes through on the next opportunity. Hockey's right under this. Pass right in front of the face of the goal. Does anyone know who's going from Indiana Tech? That is 3 players around the ball, and no one dives in until the last second. Columns breaking down in one of the most pivotal moments right now for Indiana Tech. The ball laid up. Force and Neal. Double tap prepared. He puts off the crossbar. Is anybody there to finish? Shot from Hockey. Lands to a defender. Velocity. The last second save.
Holy moly, dude. If you triple commit as Indiana Tech 1,000 times in a matchup against them, they're going to get scored on the other 999 times. And then it comes with another goal line stave. Hercules status. I honestly think the offender might have gotten a little bit of their body in between themselves and the ball as well. But 2 minutes plus of overtime. I do believe now that we've gotten more overtime in this one game than the previous 2. One of them was literally like 12 seconds. The other one was about a minute, so.
Oh, certainly feels like it. Yeah, those were short stays in the OT. This one lasting a lifetime in comparison. All it takes is one shining moment. Pop off. Hockey could be the one. Double. Goes in for the interference. Catches nobody. Blue's been given the space, but it's immediately collapsed upon by Neal. Didn't think he'd get there in time. Creams off the backboard. Can't get the second touch. Neal just a pass worth a boost. What can he do with it? 50-50. Lands it in front of the net. Reinforcements required to make that save. The 50 now won over by Creams again. Hockey puts it down off the crossbar again. Follow up. It's enough. The Goomba stomp on the final defender of Indiana Tech will secure the goal.
Wow. It's just off the... Yeah, that's just a... Yeah, that feels horrible for Bluey right there. Just get a little bonk. Hey, you. Bonk on the head. Can I get back onto the sidewall and jump out at this one? And Northwoods has won 6 games in a row, with half of them won in overtime. Neal with 7 shots attempted, which of course equals just the total amount of Indiana Tech. No biggie.
Yeah, plenty of offensive pressure. We saw Northwood in the beginning of that overtime face the shots and the rebounds from Indiana Tech, and it sort of felt like, okay, this is the turnaround moment right here. This is where Indiana Tech are going to finally capitalize on a clutch win. How many overtime wins? How many 0-second plays have we seen from Northwood just break the mental of Indiana Tech and win yet another close matchup? Indiana Tech, it feels like they needed to get one of these teeter-totter seesaw wins, and they keep ending up on the wrong side of it. It's a team that just hasn't displayed the ability to have the ice in the end. Granted, Tugboat, I do want to call out Indiana Tech made some insane saves in that overtime, right?
Oh, yes.
Those nail-biter goal line plays, got to give credit. At the end of the day, the loss is the loss.
Yeah, the way that this was shaping up, this game should not have gone to 2 minutes and 18 seconds or so. And then you could almost say that about Northwood on the other side. They're just not finishing on the offensive side. They're barely finishing on the defensive side and just not quite finishing the offensive side. Plenty of opportunity after that first 20 seconds, excuse me, or so. Northwoods, Indiana Tech going back to this, and this game 3 here has got to feel like a must-win for Indiana Tech, right? Just as unlikely as it would have been to 4-0 Northwoods in the upper finals, it's going to feel like as unlikely as it is to come back at a full reverse sweep, not drop a single game on the way to 4 games in a row. Now, it's also important to say, given they won by 4-0, they literally have done that before. So, ball's still up in the air here, man.
I'm right there with you, though. A 4-0 sweep against Northwood, it's unlikely, but it is a shadow compared to the effort that would be required to reverse sweep,
Yep.
especially with the run carried over from the first matchup in this bracket reset, in this opportunity for Northwood to take the NECC championship. They're halfway there in the bracket reset. Zenil halfway to the goal with that flip reset. Northwood still seems like they're a few shots away from that first goal.
Bouncing ball, 35 seconds of time, and spent the entirety of this game three, his life. Northwood's in the offense, Indiana Tech in the defense. This might be the beginning of something beautiful. A great pitch over, but it doesn't result in a backboard rebound that ends with a sort of like kind of passing thing. It's just immediate possession on the other side. Down low, that's just a little bit to the outside, close to it.
Breams has the flight. Right idea to get there, but really didn't have the 200 boost to the canister that would have been required for an aerial like that. So I think it's fine for Northwood. Again, they're comfortable in these situations. They played a minute of that defense in that overtime to transition, crash the boards, and get these infield passing plays to happen. Hockey just got the bread put in the basket with this pass from Zenil.
Yeah, and so Bluey goes up for the first shot that, like, it seemed like it was pretty obviously not going in. It wasn't going to be tipped in from the crossbar and then back down in skis. And this is a situation for Northwoods where it seems like the past couple of games, they don't even really need to put up honest shots right here because everything is going to be bid upon. Everything is going to be tested by at least one, and sometimes, and more recently, and even sometimes in clutch moments, bid on by more people than Northwoods would ever really need to get a block on, right? So once you do that, it's just a numbers game. Might as well be in respawn after they got demoed. Might as well be not playing the game for just a couple of those seconds, man.
Wild save made there by Velocity. Kicked it right off the crossbar. And Hockey has a pretty simple save there, but Bluey turning around for a crazy redirect. I don't know about you, Tug. I thought maybe a Northwood player would be in the way on this one.
It was a Northwood player, I believe. That was a nose on it by Creams, who couldn't quite get to more of that 180-degree angle that they need to. I believe last touch on that was technically a Northwoods player. Creams, the redemption, easy off of kickoff. Take everything that I said and throw it out the window.
Hey, I told you there were advantages to this long car, and man, that is a wild backwards flick to pull off on that play. Definitely an advantage for Northwood to get their lead back immediately.
Yeah, immediately. Tied game we saw at the very beginning of this, obviously, and then for about 2 or 3 seconds until the kickoff did conclude. Bluey gets to the middle to try and take this pass, comes up to it, and jumps past it. Yet again, Hockey didn't even need to make contact.
Still, the possession continues for Indiana Tech. Feels like a wall has been put up, though, by Northwood, unless it's, on a breakaway play or a wild redirect. Can you get past this defense right now that has looked more formidable at any point in this series? A dastardly air dribble bump is going to connect on Indiana Tech and clear out some space in the midfield. Zenil does get a reset, but refuses to utilize it. I think his car got hit a little too far down to make it find its value. And some corner ball here for Tech. I don't know why all the players are together in the corner. It may reveal some vulnerabilities for them as the ball's been teed up high in the midfield for Northwood to take. These are some concerning plays here out of the defense of Indiana Tech, just uncharacteristic from an otherwise clinical team.
It really has been. I mean, yes, they got beat pretty bad in the last game of the last, but again, you pour everything into an offense at a certain point. The last game of a series just to try and make it back. Outside of that, we've seen one score differences absolutely litter across the score line here between these two. Creams can't quite get the nose under this one, but it's the teammate there anyway. This is the Hockey story, right? Creams comes up, everybody clinches a little bit. Two different players have honest shots at this one, and then nobody's back on the second shot that you know is going to be coming afterwards. Velocity is literally parallel with the ball and with the net.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it just feels like Indiana Tech are playing in slow motion right now. That's how ridiculous this outpacing is right now from Northwood. Plus, the time and the space that they're getting near the ceiling is, you just can't offer that to players like Creams, who are going to knock it either in your net or off the crossbar for a teammate to close down on. This is another example of the same. Fortunately for Indiana Tech, Creams finds the woodwork again instead of the net. But it's 1-3 right now. It should be 1-4, maybe 5. These Tech are looking to get some kind of ground in this matchup.
Kareem's going to be happy. He'll have a future as a carpenter after it submits like that. Either of those could have definitely made in. Either of those would have resulted in a 3-score differential, sub 60, which is a nail in the coffin. As of right now, I mean, you get one here, and then you have even just like any time left, or you get one with 10 seconds left or something like that, you're at least going to have a kickoff, and at least there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. As it is, time squandered towards the end. Oh, this is a good play. Bluey tries for it, but loses the 50. Back on over to their right corner. Backwards passes. Neil's going to be super happy with it. Every time this comes back here, that's about 4 or 5 seconds burned off the clock.
And too much has burned off that clock. 1-3, 2-goal lead for Northwood puts them in a 3-game lead advantage here on the bracket reset. Northwood University got them up. And let me know if I'm wrong, Tugboat. 7 games won in a row.
It is. They needed 8. Indiana Tech won the very first one and it was off to the races after there. And the thing is that so they go 4-1 afterwards. You think, oh my goodness, okay, this is just a return to normalcy here for Northwood as they sit on top of the NECC. They then sit on top of a lot of collegiate Rocket League, and this is what the script called for. But then after that, 2 back-to-back overtime wins, one of which Northwood's had to do everything just to get in 2. That's when we started, Pyro J, the narrative of this Indiana Tech A squad just needing to close, needing to finish, and do not count chickens until they're fully, not just hatched, until they're laying eggs of their own, it seems like, right? Because that's kind of like the consistent problem right here, where it's these assumptions. There was a couple of instances. I'm not talking about game number 5 there either. 7-1, again, you completely forgive that on the back end of the series once a team is just throwing everything they can, right? But there's been a couple of individual circumstances where they've gone forth and just cheated up just a tiny little bit too much, and that is just the fire alarm in the heads of every single Northwoods player. Is just, okay, take open lanes and get in position, because it doesn't matter. It's Neil Hockey Creams, they will get you the ball.
Oh, yeah. Those 3 have been linking up with each other in a perfect way. We've talked about the aerial give and goes. We've talked about any kind of ceiling play, backboard play. How about a pinch on the kickoff? I mean, we're filling out the entire resume of team goals right now, Tugboat. I think we're running out of ink.
I hear you. My bingo card is darn near full here, Pyro. They send 2, get them pinch right off the middle. Both players across the middle go flying, and then it's just a 1-on-1 across. And player coming back from picking up boost can't quite get there in time. 1-score differential here early. If there's one thing that I know is that Indiana Tech A does not have any give up inside of them. Okay, they're gonna play this all the way through, and they still know there's a comeback capabilities here.
There are. No matter how defeated they may feel after conceding another goal here, you can see Bluey doing everything they can. You've got a musty flicking Creams in the way, so you've not only got to hit the ball and dodge the bump, but then you have that follow-up and no reinforcements. You're put in nearly an impossible situation. Speaking of which, Hockey on a 1v1 stands his ground. Flicks that ball out and away. Pass over to Creams. It's a dart off the backboard. That has incredible velocity to it. It's going to be hit the wrong direction. Hockey's got to play the safe keeper of the net. He'll get 1 save. He'll try to turn it into 2. Fortunately for him, he's got Creams on the back wing.
Yeah, clean rotations from Cream on the defensive side. Teammates follow suit. It's just another shutdown defense. They're going to have to do this one again as ball reaches in their side of the pitch. Velocity to the skies. It's going to be a teammate bouncing this left corner and through the middle lane.
I'm pretty sure Creams is back to pre-jumping. he's got a crazy read right now on Indiana Tech, and he has been left to run amok. Shot turns into a bump that clears the defenders out. Backboard pass out to Zendil. And Tech have been beaten not only in the game of Rocket League, but mentally at this point. Tugboat, they cannot keep up.
Yeah, and like you kind of see it, they're all on this like left quadrant here. You really need to be spreading a pitch defensively when, once you see those balls coming back, and they're all just kind of like almost drawing a line in behind themselves, trying not to leave tracks in the snow or something. Resh, 24, sends this back down. Not a whole lot of momentum on it, but velocity. The player right in front of them, the defender right in front of them, did get bumped, so they saw an opportunity to try to get it past, but once again, it's just Northwood's clean, crisp defensive rotations. Huge clear over the side. Wins a 50, comes up for it. Creams actually cuts low on this one and does get it for a second, but Blue is down there to meet him.
Hockey's got time to play this one, and time is of the essence, really, for Indiana Tech. They've got to be efficient with their attack here. So Bluey's going to try to get this ball at least across the face of the net. You see a diving attacker there out of Indiana Tech just to get a chance to score, just in case it slips through the seams of that defense from Northwood. But if this defense has shown anything, it's that they're not going to let anything slip by. Demolition from Creams is going to take that offense back a little bit. Velocity not willing to give up, sticking around that ball, but that's 2 beaten. Now Hockey just has Resh to beat. Flip reset is faked and is put under Velocity. There's just no stopping Hockey.
It just really isn't. That's going to be their 3rd shot attempted, 2 goals, assists, and a pair of saves. It's individual members on Northwoods that kind of come around with a well-rounded play on each individual games, but it's consistency with which at least one of them is doing it on any individual game that has purchased themselves a huge lead. 4-0 as of right now, 10 seconds past halftime. And there's a little bit more incentive to be looking at one. I will say we have not seen a sweep of either of these two teams or a shutout, excuse me. No, there's not been a zero goals scored situation across now 9 games of Rocket League.
Huh. Yeah, I'm sure Tech like that stat because it means that goals coming at some point. Yeah. They hope it's
there you go.
Nearer rather than farther away. And well, yeah, Tugboat, you said it was on its way.
This Cream's just kind of getting a weird hit off their nose. I think they're trying to get this back down to the left corner, or maybe just that Hockey is like, hey, this ain't a great pass. You have a player right near you. Regardless, it's going to be Northwoods giving up at least one and following the theme that both these teams have established so far in this 2 now best of 7s.
It's just really not the look that Indiana Tech wanted, especially after you see Creams change from one of the standard cars in Rocket League. You know, you're never going to see a player in Division 1 without a Fennec or an Octane. Mm-hmm. And, well, Creams makes you question what the standard is and what it should be. It's like someone going into a professional Smash Brothers tournament and walking in with Ganondorf. And taking out the whole competition. I mean,
it could happen.
It could happen, and it is right here. Creams has the opportunity to define the meta in a series with whatever vehicle he wants to. And it's being done 4-1 with a minute to go. A miracle is in the way of Indiana Tech and staying in this series.
Gotta agree. They've been in this kind of situation before here, down multiple and been unable to finish. Just like when they've been ahead, is the comeback capabilities have mostly been rearing their heads for the side of Northwoods. That was an attempted middling, trying to get that pass in there. Plenty of boost. Rush realizes that cheat up right here, maybe a goal the other way, but at a certain point, just like in that game 5 of our first best of 7, you got to put everything in the offensive side, and if you get scored on more, who cares?
That's right. We'll see the final lunge from Indiana Tech. Bluey has one on target, and instead of Indiana Tech being the ones that over-aggressed, it is Northwood that find themselves too far behind the play, giving up 1 to make it a 2-goal game.
Yeah, the bad news is that Northwoods will almost certainly not do this one again in the next 22 seconds, right? Being up by 3, you can play around with this a little bit, but the wiggle room is now done. Fake off the kickoff, coming inside. That was almost a lot of life. Not just a little bit of life, but a lot of life at the end of the tunnel. Ball goes aloft. That's another 4 seconds eaten off. This one goes horizontal on the initial hit. Bluey comes in for it. Double tap attempted. Can't finish. That's another one, but it's just a little bit to the outside, and this game is over.
There it is, Northwood University, your NECC fall champions of Division 1, taking out the competition and rising like a phoenix from the lower bracket to eliminate Indiana Tech in 2 matches. The game score 8-1. I mean, from about games 2, maybe 3, you could see what was happening, right, Tugboat? At Northwood University, they're finding their form, historically such a great team. We've seen Kareem's hockey and Zanil do it not only in the collegiate space, but as well in the professional leagues. And, you know, it was a lot of overtimes. It was a lot of one-point games. But every single one, they ended up on top. And they exuded that confident display that we know and love from this team.
I gotta agree with you. There was a clear, favorite underdog story kind of coming into this one. Even if you took the 4-0 sweep in the upper finals from earlier, Indiana Tech has been doing some fantastic things since they've entered the Rocket League scene. Not taking anything away from them whatsoever. They got here to the grand finals by no mistake, right? But at the end of it, it just seems like, yeah, you can call it the clutch factor. You can call it this. I'm just going to go back to the same thing, and that's consistency. These are 3 members that have been in this situation before. They've had the clutch plays. They've had all the pressure in the world. They've had the lights and sounds and everything else like that. And at the end of the day, they just went forth and played their Rocket League game. It doesn't hurt that at the end of every single one of these close ones, they would end up on top. And especially, I mean, you could really, really look at that game 3 after one team wins by 4, the other team wins by 3. You're almost looking at like a clean slate at this point, right? Then we go up to a 3-2 last 12 seconds. Northwood gets it. The mental is a little bit dashed, and then they go with like 7 seconds in overtime to take it. That continues their run, the second of those wins, and it would not a run that would not stop. 8 in a row. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, I think at the end we still hand a huge kudos to Indiana Tech to make it to the finals. They had to win the quarterfinals and the semifinals to get to this point and defeat Northwood in that winners finals to be your runners up for Division 1 NECC. That is a huge title to take. We had teams like Concord and Cumberland and Ole Miss, etc. So many teams in this bracket to get to that position. So congratulations to them. Folks, before we leave you for a break, because we do have Division 2 coming up, we still got more late night NECC Rocket League action coming your way. A quick word from one of our sponsors here, the Wenzel's Farm. It's made in Wisconsin, goes great with gaming. Wenzel's Farm. Legendary Wisconsin meat sticks since 1977. 14 mouth-watering flavors. Meet your heart out. Wenzel's Farm. Legendary Wisconsin meat sticks since 1977. I'm sure you guys will see more messages from them coming up after we leave you. But Division 2 is next, folks, so stick around for it. We'll see you after this break.
wish we stayed the same. I got way too many thoughts in my brain. I got memories that run through my veins. I'm not one to blame, but I could point out every way that you changed. Some things stay up while others go right down the drain. And lately we've been going down in flames. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm moving on for good. At least my therapist is saying that I should. I don't believe it, but I really wish I could. Instead, I guess I'll stay misunderstood. Oh, 'cause I'm stuck now, just trying to figure a way out. I've tried but can't seem to slow down, and I don't know if I want to. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in nirvana. But if I'm can't seem to slow down, and I don't know if I want to.
All I seek to find is a world that's mine. Need a place to hide. Will you free my mind? Following the light of a world that's blind. In your eyes I see there's a place for me.
Hello and welcome back. Short break it was. D1 is done. Northwoods completed the first bracket, reset it, won the second, best of 7 as well, 4-0 fashion. FBI Tugboat here with Pyro J. Pyro, we're staring down the barrel of some Davenport Panthers and Carthage Red Firebirds doing battle in D2.
I know these Davenport players well. I've casted black and red, those teams respectively. The former more so than the other, but this is a great program. These are full of players that are ready to win. They've got a big winners mentality. I'd say Par is one I know really well over on the Davenport side. Byra and Exiled, two players that are just the same as competitive Tugboat. But how about that Carthage side?
Carthage side, yes, that's Korup, Veil, and X-Ray. we are looking at Timmy and Robert, the coaching staff over here for Carthage Red. Shout out Shane and Noah, coaching staff for them Davenport Panthers. Fantastic stuff, and some two fantastic squads that had to fight hard to get here. Carthage, so they this is actually a rematch as well. Davenport took this one down in the upper finals, but it's also a fact that Davenport's dropped at least one game in all of these so far, so no like crazy sweeps or anything else like that, Pyro.
Yeah, two competitive teams, and that's kind of what it ends up being when we get into these final situations, right? It's two teams that deserve the position that they earned. You've got to take it from the divisions, from the conferences. You got to boil it down to two teams that end up in the position that they kind of were destined to be in, just based on the grit, the work they've done to get here. So it's no surprise to see that this is going to be another close one here in Division 2. I'm just excited. I'm big on this Davenport team. You mentioned the coaching staff of Shane. He's got a great head on his shoulders. He's coached that Davenport Black team very far, and I'm excited to see where it takes this red team in this finals matchup, Doug.
Speaking of Carthage, they're coming off the back. After the upper finals, they would lose that one 4-1, come down to play against Southeastern in the lower finals. That was a barn burner. Game 7 right there, Pyro J. Gave up 3 of them, able to take it down to punch their ticket to the Grands.
Well, we're here. We got to the grand finals of Division 2 for NECC, so let's get those players on the field and let's check out what they got on the car soccer. Here we go, game number 1 of our best of 7. Our final one of the night. Tugboat is on.
Feels like a perfect way to start this off. But these players are having a lot of fun in the pregame lobby and whatnot. It starts off with a dual demo, a little 2v2 for a couple of seconds.
And joking around saying, oh yeah, it's for fun, right? You know, trying to take the guard down from the other team, and maybe for Davenport it did work because the defense was a bit too high on the backboard for this shot.
They were also saying things like Byra Pear is old. What they were saying, they're born with the amoebas. Personally, I find this slanderous.
Yeah, the old folks in the caster booths are going to rescind their comments against that one. we may or may not remember what the dinosaurs looked like, but that's all right. These guys, if they're dinosaurs, they're pterodactyls, they're high flyers, they know what it's like to be in the skies. They're going to prove it with those aerial goals here today.
I was going to say, never forget what my ride to school looked like. What are you talking about, Pyro J? 45 seconds on into this one. First score, almost, so a fantastic opportunity and try here for Carthage Red. That's a couple of opportunities here and early, just none of them have really found pay dirt yet.
Yeah, listen, we started with that double demo. We started with a knockout blow against Carthage, so you got to get your stance back. You got to ready yourself. You have to get into formation once again, so it might take a minute for that to happen, especially when players like Exiled are setting up corner double taps, especially when Byra is nearly slotting the follow-up. But when you miss both chances, you end up dry on the other end.
Core gonna be able to find this off the backboard, and there's nobody home for the Davenport Panthers. Mild mistake, but a mild mistake that's gonna result in a tied game after 1:20.
We learned in the last matchup that mistakes can punish you heavily. And so once we move into this Division 2 from Division 1, nothing is going to change. Mistakes may only get more costly, and there was a mistake made to allow yourself to be demolitioned on the goal line. Vale saves the day, though, outlasting the pressure.
Yeah, great job of just keeping eyes on the ball and not just refusing to stop making defensive stops until this ball is cleared off the other way. Byra gonna have to pick this one up, nose down to the corner, gives it to the teammate, and Vale interrupts the best laid plans of this Davenport squad. Core continuing this one. Byra, weird hit, way too high on it was this Carthage Red squad, and this is gonna go back the other way for a few seconds at least.
At minimum. Yeah, you're seeing that possession change. You're seeing that midfield battle still wage, but Davenport seemed to have a good hold of it. That is until they don't. Everyone seems to be on the same page, but as that counterattack goal was scored by Carthage, it just takes one momentary blip for them to lose it on the other end. So aside from the miniature vulnerabilities of Davenport, they seem to be the team in control. Speaking of which, there's two players locked up near the goal line there. No, they've broken it loose. We're back to 3-on-3.
Gotcha. They got release. Their earthly bonds there, Byra. The rest will be back to this 3-on-3 cornered out. I mean, I gotta say, Davenport's doing a good job of kind of setting up these shots in the middle, but it just doesn't seem like there's a whole lot there. Well, there is this time. Byra comes flying in with this one. It's a bouncing ball off the ceiling from Byra, and then download pair is just going to feast upon this one. I think Byra actually went and made contact with the defender as well, so kind of diffusing any kind of defensive opportunities they would have had to stop that ball.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see Byra hunting defenders. It feels like some of these Davenport players have been aiming for the opponent's cars more than the ball, and that kind of play style can be very effective. Speaking of which, look at this one. Right after the pass, the bump is attempted by Davenport. Had that shot been on target, this game might have been over, but we're going a different way with it.
X-Ray gets the vision up on this one, picks up big boost along the corner, or along the side, excuse me. And then that was Vale. It was able to do that, and it was just much easier, kind of give right there, nice simple pass play. And I'm just realizing this. Okay, so this tricks tag on the front part of all three of these Carthage Red players. Is this more elder slang or slander? Excuse me, like tricks are for kids? Is that where they're going with this?
I don't know. That may be, I wish we had winners interviews. If this team won, we could ask them all about it. You gotta love the club tags on these players, but style points, whether they've got in the club tag or in the aerials, are not gonna affect the scoreboard. Shots like these will. And Byra puts in a slinger.
It was para to Byra earlier. Now it's the same, a little bit more of the same. A fantastic shot, and that's just going to be so hard to be defended against when you're talking about 130 kilometers per hour.
That's right. Extra work being done on the shot taking and the passing, I should say, as well, from Davenport. Players finding each other on transition has been maybe the greatest asset to this Davenport offense. How about Byra finding himself to the corner? That top corner placement is something else.
Yeah, nobody even had a shot at touching this ball on the way in the side, and then you try and come off the side wall there. X-Ray does. It's just, again, just way too fast to really have been reacted at. You pretty much had to be there already, and then it just would have been like kind of a lucky right place, right time type situation. 45 seconds to go. Score difference of 2.
Again, the demolitions tugboat. It is nasty work. If you're Carthage Red, you have to be having a 360-degree vision. You've got to be looking behind, in front, north, south, east, west for the incoming demolition. It is always afoot with this demolition-heavy Davenport team.
They're coming from the skies. Where are they coming from? They're coming from underground. So one place you know they're not going to come from is under this one. But you're 100% right. Physical play has absolutely ruled the day. There's a huge takeaway. Vale gets this out and actually uses the offender to push this to the corner. But 18 seconds to go. We'd need a miracle for this game one to end out tied and push to OT. Well, there's the first little bit. So Core gets this one. They get another one with even 1 second to go and take it from kickoff. We're looking at like 1 or 2% possibilities, folks.
Yeah, it's all about the risks that you take. I mean, that was a fantastic pre-jump and read to secure that third goal. The ball is put out for Vale. Para gets a piece of it. Vale could still find a teammate here. Redirect secured, but that clear is there for Davenport University. Red, which will secure the win. They've got one. Still, in this best of 7, many more to go.
Oh, yeah. I think I did say this earlier, but just as a reminder, perhaps in case you're just joining us, Davenport Red did win in the upper finals earlier, so this would be a bracket reset if the Carthage Red squad is able to come forth and take this one down. Taking a look at the numbers here, only 9 shots attempted for Davenport. Well, there's 9 shots attempted for Carthage Red, so I think this is very indicative of just how back and forth this time of possession was. It really wasn't just one team spending all of their time in the offensive third and just rattling shots back and forth, Pyro.
Yeah, this was about much more than that. I mean, you have pressure garnered from crashing the boards, no doubt about it. When possession play is there for Davenport, they like to expend the resources to get up there and get in your face. But this was all about the plan thereafter. Once you get that shot, once you get that pass to go, where are you next? You're bumping, you're demoing, you're boost stealing. It's all about disruption. It's all about dismantling the initial game plan of your opponents. The demos don't just carve the way for the goal. They also dismantle the plan that your opponents have. They are forced to adjust. They are forced to have that, at least that backup like runtime program running to say, search for nearest Davenport player. Make sure I can evade that demolition. And that's tough to multitask that with the plan ahead. So it's an effective strategy early in the series. Will it pave the way for success all the way in this best of 7? That is still to be told.
I think this is one of those situations where it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The fact that you're flying at these Carthage Red Firebirds and continuously getting these demos and making it so that like it's trying to draw blood from a rock to say like, okay, play your best Rocket League and line this up and have perfect timing while also keeping your head on literally, you said, a 360 degree swivel at any given time. And I could kind of like relate this game plan to sort of what Northwoods was doing earlier. It's not about this initial shot. In fact, it was more so for Northwoods, for example, it was just about getting it there fast because frequently members of Indiana Tech would bite on it and block it away and do this quickly so they wouldn't get a pass. They would just get kind of a clear, and it was always another Northwoods player that could follow this up. It's just like the same case here for Davenport. They put the initial shot up. It's like it's sometimes good, it's sometimes not. Sure, they have to block it or not, doesn't really matter because the player's always getting into the back line after that and then bumping or demoing a player away. And sometimes it's even better for a bump. Some of these bumps that I've been seeing, especially once they kick this car aerially, you're basically like useless, just flying through the air, especially if you don't have boost, for a longer time than you would if you just got demoed. But if you got demoed, you're in a reliable place and you're coming back with 34 boost. So it's kind of even better to have gotten demoed in that situation for the receiving side for Carthage Red.
I love the intentional bump play. I'm glad you mentioned it, Tugboat. Oftentimes in rank, that's my go-to. Is like, okay, I'm gonna pat the brakes just a second before I get that demolition. Not only for the reasons you just mentioned, but also because it's really fun to watch your opponent fly through the air. We're going to go for game number 2. Davenport Red have the game advantage in this series now, as it was well earned in game 1.
It really was. Really was. They're talking about, okay, sorry, I thought there was a new player sub coming in. That is not going to be the case. Vale tripled up on the defense right there, and Carthage Red decides not to bite in at that. When you have so many cooks in the kitchen, nobody can make a roll.
I like that from Core, though. Set up for Vale. And how about
Nasty.
that shot? I'll tell you what, this team is opportunistic. If they get even a sliver of a chance, they're biting at it.
And Para, I respect the try and just completely like switch, like almost like 180 degrees from looking to the right to the left to try and just get under this one, influence a little bit because they could realize what Vale was doing as it came in. Kickoff going the way of Vale and the rest of Carthage Red. These Firebirds spreading their wings for the time being. No, it's a solid attempt and an aerial demo. X-Ray getting it done.
Ara tried to get away with a carry out, but with 0 boost and a defender charging in the way, just wasn't going to happen. After Vale steals boost, they want to cherry pick a shot, but they're demoed out of the way. I was surprised to see these early demolitions from Davenport Red. Exile, next one, out to Para. That shot intercepted. Better vision coming out from Carthage Red in this game, Tugboat, which is exactly what I look for. I want them to have the visions on the passing plays, and of course, those bumps.
Initial shot comes in, the bump, at least attempted on the backside, but gotten wise to it. These Firebirds have, not so quick to get their wings clipped on the defensive side, and maintaining numbers has now resulted in no attempts being made, and another block. X-Ray coming up with it this time.
Love Lovely work at X-Ray. What do you got for us, Vale? Not enough. Had boost in the tank, but not the momentum to follow it. Exile downfield. That's picked up. Right next at the plate. Here comes Virus. Double tap set up. X-Ray denied, but resources are running thin now for Carthage. Fortunately, wow, for one of their players, I think it was X-Ray, landed on the boost as it responds. So they're going to get that mighty resource to transition out.
Speaking of resources, plenty on the line here for this Carthage Red squad as they started this, but it's quickly squandered away. Ball is kicked immediately back on over, and they have to pick up both corners just to have anything in the boost or anything in the tank. Nice shot from Exiled. That's not going to get cornered top right enough. That was almost everything Exiled. A great redirect and a better defensive stop and save.
Para got right in front of that. I love the speed coming out from Para in this game. I got to watch a little bit of Para on the main roster of Davenport. I think he had to fill in for either Bolty or Brock.
Yeah.
Some of last year's end of season play there for the main roster of Davenport. And I mean, he filled into nearly an MVP role. This guy has what it takes to be at the top of collegiate competition. You know, not even mentioned Division II here in NECC. So keep an eye on him to try to coordinate the efforts when Davenport need to come back here in the final couple minutes.
Wonky shot here, but it gets the job done, which is moving this ball from one side to the next. Offensive side, Vale gets it over. That's not an open net with Exile just thrashing you across the middle. Loses possession, almost gets completely turned around as well, and you burned all your boost just to get there.
Oh, that's a really smart play. Downward pass off the backboard, but about 3 Carthage players, yeah, the entire team ready to set up and defend that play. Resets off the turnaround from the crossbar. Byra is going to have to play this one. Toughy, but he gets it to the safe corner. Defense, unfortunately, for Davenport is just not going to win this game, though. I mean, they've got to shape up on the offensive side. Not many more chances to do it here with a minute left.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. We're not going to see, well, probably 20 seconds or so before they start throwing everything here, but 0-1 is still anybody's game. Yes, it's been a lead, and yes, it came off the back of a very high-scoring game number 1, but that was a game number 1 where the physical play was ruling the day, completely shutting it down and putting a second set of eyes on their backs so far. Carthage Red ruling this game number 2, almost gets the back left tire against it for a floater inside.
What a pop-up there from Para. Pass comes out from Byra, and they're trying to get it over to that net, but another save is made. Infield pass finds Para. Para trying to get that double tap. It's going to be sent over for Exiled instead. In the final seconds of game number 2, Davenport tie it up.
Little flashes of Northwood, if you'll allow it. 7 shots attempted, 5th for Exiled, and finally makes one inside. X-Ray has been putting on a clinic on the other side, a trio of saves.
What can they do in the final 15 seconds? Para wants the individual play, gets the carry out, pass one off the backboard. Oh no, Carthage left it wide open. Byra misses the shot. That is a devastating move there for Davenport. They're gonna hope they get another chance like that in OT.
Yeah, that's gonna taste bad in their mouths if they get to on the other side of this and then make it inside. Well, that was a quick resolution as Core and the Carthage Red Firebirds tie this series back up.
The Carthage get away with that one for sure. They nearly let the ball game loose from their grasp in those final 15 seconds where Davenport equalized. But hey, they figured it out in kickoff on overtime, and they earned that win. But yeah, Davenport back in the timeout box, or back in the, I guess, in between box. They could call it timeout if they really wanted to just talk it over, to just say, hey guys, you know what? We had a very strong game 1. You know, we kind of showed them our playbook. We kind of said, hey, we're going to come out hot and heavy. We're going to throw out the bumps, the demos, the boost steals. They responded to that well. If we would have put in that open net, that game is still ours. There's not too much to change. Let's just stay the confident team that we are and try to get this championship win.
This is what we talk about, Pyro, when we say memory of a goldfish, right? These are minor mistakes. It was very clear cut. There was, honestly, all three members had at least somewhat of an opportunity at this, and then with the end result being what it was in overtime, obviously not ideal. The whole point, take this, put it beyond you. The nicest thing is that this series is tied up, and even if you lose this one, if you're a Davenport Red fan, then they still have the series on the back side of this after the bracket reset. So nothing can be lost here except for an advantage to go back to a neutral, and that's how you always need to look at the winning side of a bracket reset. On the other, strategy-wise here, the Bumps Demos, got it, not working so much. This is a fantastic answer from the Carthage Red, and you need to blend your game plan of the value that you found earlier and not as much effort put into it, because that was almost all that Davenport was doing in game number 1.
That's right. Yeah, fantastic response out of Carthage. They seem to be right on the line to greatness for Davenport. They're leaving some funny messages in the chat. They're saying, oh, could I get the coach's analysis on that open net miss, right? So I don't think mentally they're going to be shaken by it. I think that's proven here at the start of game 3.
Nicely done. Exiled here, and you have all 3 Carthage Red members within the same, couple car lengths of each other. Too many cooks in the kitchen, and the dinner gets burned. 1-0 Davenport Red early.
Making me hungry with these kitchen comments, Tugboat. I'm not going to lie.
My girl's cooking a pot roast. I've literally been smelling it since the beginning of the Northwoods game. Like the first Northwoods best of 7.
All right. Hey, Carthage, if you're going to bracket reset here, okay, you need to be okay with keeping that pot roast away from my good gas friend here, Tugboat.
Not too long. I can. She does it all the time, and it's great. I'm gonna stop talking about it because I'm literally just thinking about it too much now. 40 seconds into this one, the mild lead purchase for Davenport University early, but it's been a lot more back and forth, Pyro, since then. A couple of offensive possessions and a shot over. Exiled finds their second. Gets me a little bit closer maybe to that pot roast. All right, I'm going to stop talking.
I was going to say it if you didn't. Fantastic shot there from Exile right under the bar, and that's exactly where you want those shots placed, especially when placement was the question mark from the last game. Unify as a team, get them on target, and get that show back on the road. Hold on, Exile off the kickoff. Myra should have a good chance on this shot to follow, and it's it.
Yeah, but this will be Exiled's point. Yeah, so it's going to be the goal Byra, assist Exiled, 100% goal participation. Just something we always like to talk about. Taking a look here, yeah, so this was in that Game 7 in the lower finals, Carthage Red. This is all back and forth. Game 1, Southeastern. Game 2, Carthage. Game 3, Southeastern. Game 4, Carthage. Game 5, Carthage. Game 6, Southeastern. So this is like completely back and forth. So folks, take this goal right here and realize that this is a Carthage Red Firebird squad. They fight back. That's what they do.
Fantastic way to do it as well. Core has been the kind of that clutch player of, hey, if it's off the kickoff, you need a player with the right situational awareness. Core's been that player, especially when you think about that overtime win that Carthage had come away with. Very nicely done there off the ceiling. But are they going to get another chance like that, especially as Exile's going to clear this out? Para in position to put this down. Had Core in the wings waiting for that shot to even be tried.
Through the air, almost gets it done themselves, tries for the double tap, but I think they just influenced that offender as they were flying in. No boost, can't reposition. Big clear, even better pass, a bouncing ball down bottom that's got to be fielded and does. Exiled was waiting there to kind of tip it on in from the initial. Byra, nose down, and Vale is the one to sniff it out.
Uh-oh, more demolitions on the field, but this time it's against Davenport. Will they be able to continue their offensive streak? Seems to be so. Byra's going for the sidewall. Complete it as a pass off the backboard, but that's just easily taken care of by the defense. Exile able to steal boost. Big on the resources here to try and topsy-turvy it against Carthage, but even under resources, still able to push ahead. Hold on, the ceiling beat. Almost there, had it not been for Core.
Bouncing ball down bottom, kind of open for it. Exile gets it to Para, and that was almost the most clean passing play off of a pickup that you'll find. I don't know how this goal made in on the backside, right? So the pass comes in right there from Para, and immediately this should have been it. I don't even did they actually make contact with that? Did Exile actually make contact with that, or did whoever that player was? Oh wow, okay.
It seems so. And as we know, you hit the ball with the undercarriage of your car, it might just have no momentum. Here's my take, though, as we see a 5th goal from Davenport. Very well. This one getting a little lopsided. It could have been a ghost touch. And sometimes when the server takes a second to respond, a player sees the ball move a lot more quickly than it actually did. So you got the chance to redirect that with top speed or with nothing at all. So I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to the defense. However, that only accounts for 1 goal, Tugboat. This lead is up to 4.
Yes, that is very, very true. Now, the good news is they have about 2 minutes here. This would be insurmountable if we were sub 60, but we're not. So a couple of clears and a nice pass inside will be the first goal to start chipping away at this lead, maybe even bring this one to an overtime situation. Coming up with a lead at this point, scoring up 6, that seems tough, but try as you might, time is still ticking on, though.
It is, and when time's on the clock, Carthage will still fight. That said, Para with the pre-jump on this play. We thought it would only be Creams from Northwood pulling off the top level pre-jump plays, but Para, as I said earlier, is ready to be that one that makes the clips for the night. Had the setup for it, just not the execution. Para this time just a long clear downfield, and it's batted back. Nicely done by Carthage. Ball left for Byra here. Core gets the read for at least the dunk. But there's too much work to be done for that 4-goal lead. So Carthage have to find the puzzle pieces that have been ripped up and pushed on the ground and try to put it back together for the rest of the series.
I hear you. I mean, that was a great sequence right here. I need to see a little bit. I mean, this game is pretty much over with and got 40 seconds, but this was a Carthage squad that was able to come up and interrupt the best laid plans of Davenport like consistently across like 75 seconds or so. Maybe another one. Nope, can't quite get there. An X-Ray and teammate kind of split the difference right there. Neither of them can get the true angle.
Ooh, batted away. Come on. I at least want to see the groundwork laid here by Carthage Red. They're getting some solid saves here, but can they actually turn into something here as sidewalls and pre-jumps are being attempted by Davenport? Hit them where it hurts. Get them to be punished for these overextension plays. X-Ray ground to air dribble. Deflected well by Byra. Wasn't going to be in the face of an air dribble bump there. Pass to Bale. Shot will be denied, as many have here for Carthage Red. Davenport, it is a loud response after losing out in overtime in the last game. A convincing win for the 2-1 series lead.
It's a couple convincing wins as well. Carthage was able to find their third on the backside of that game number 1 and kind of bring this one back a little bit to make that 5-3 look a little bit more attractive. It was just the impressive plays in overtime right there, and a little bit more, perhaps even just a little bit of luck. But 5 shots for Exiled, 5 shots for Byra. That either of those individually equal the total shots for Carthage Red. 5 shots attempted, 4 saves. Davenport is playing their game.
Playing their game, and that's going to be the key for Carthage Red, is to take them out of their game, to remove them from this rhythm, right? It went from kind of, okay, I'm going to make these demo plays happen, to, hold on, I actually feel very comfortable pre-jumping and getting resets off the ceiling and kind of styling on you. So Carthage Red have to do the same kind of disrespect. Say, okay, you know what? I'm going to move upfield. I'm going to steal boost. And we saw some of that. You know, there were opportunities where Vale was stealing boost on the other side of the field and trying to get the redirect cherry pick goal in. Problem is Davenport are equipped with that same speed. So keep trying. See what works here for Carthage Red. You still got your feet cemented in this series. It's still early at 2-1. There's plenty of opportunity to get back into this.
This is a best of 5. It'd be a different story, and we'd be talking about how they need to take this next one to keep their dream alive, blah, blah. No, a little bit of extended series, a little bit more wiggle room here. And the good news for Carthage Red and any fans thereof is that the first time, once they realized like a very clear game plan that Davenport was executing, they immediately came out and shut that down completely. Only 1 goal allowed, and then 1 in overtime. That, 1 is a lot easier of a number to deal with, and then it just puts way less pressure on your offense to go forth and produce.
Right. Davenport, as they get into this with that series lead, are looking to make another 4-1 series out of this playoff run in the quarterfinals. 4-1 over UCSB Gold. Ooh, nice save there from Byra. Oh, they're going to need another here. Nice block, keeping it into the corner, away from shot-taking territory. Semifinals was a win against Southeastern Oklahoma, I think. 4-1 in that matchup as well. Davenport had the 4-1 earlier against Carthage in the winners finals. It is a bit of a consistent showing for Davenport to give up a game and then nothing left after. So Carthage have history to fight against as well.
I hear you. Themes that have been established, using the past to predict the future. Well, how about X-Ray from down freaking town? They're going to have to put more postage on that one if they wanted to reach its intended destination next time. Nobody from the side of Davenport had an opportunity to do anything but watch that one go in.
That was a cannonball.
It really was.
I mean, seriously, man, that had a spark and a fire behind it and was just placed right in the woodwork of the ship, the base of it. I played enough Sea of Thieves, I should know the parts of the ship.
Men used to go sail on seas. Is that the meme now? Oh! Well, Byra does a great job taking passes. They kind of a popped loose ball, honestly. Once again, though, I have to point it out, Carthage Red, you can see all three of the members on your screen right now. One's kind of coming off of side, like the sidewall here. One's on the ground, one's sort of in the middle, and no one has a shot.
There's no player in the middle of it all. It was balanced, but had its gaps at the end of the day. This one counts. On the one, Carthage getting up with all the quickness that they have on these aerial plays. X-Ray has an open field, gets the fake, but the deflection occurs for Exiled, and boy, was it needed. That was the safety pocket for the team.
I gotta agree, especially with Exiled sitting right there. Like, there was no room for error whatsoever, right? Great defensive efforts. Kept this score 1-1. Vale down bottom. Watches this one get sent to the bottom right, and it's Core with the hero plays.
And that was Core being chased by a bully on their own goal line. So for them to take it coast to coast and score this is incredible. Again, let's start out with Core saving the day, evading a bump, and then gets the reset off the ball from the ceiling. Maddening from Core.
Who needs to put all four on the ceiling to get the reset and whatnot? Nah, just use the ball a little bit lower after the ball goes up top. Nose up, nose almost in as Vale pushes this to what would have been the biggest lead that this Carthage squad has enjoyed so far. Another opportunity right there, 3 seconds outside of halftime. Vale takes it to the side ceiling, loses the 50. Core is going to be able to pick this one up. Back on the inside and try to go far post. I like the move.
I'll tell you what, I mean, I'm loving a lot that we're seeing on Carthage in this game. Like we said, they had to be a little disrespectful, you know, put a little style behind their play as well, since we're seeing it out of Davenport. It's more of a command of respect, and we're starting to see that, especially with these outplays from Core. And the nice work they've been doing to solve Game 1's problems, which was evade the demolitions. It's all come together very nicely for Carthage.
Gotta agree with you. Demo onto Exile. They realized how this was being drawn up. They're going to try and kick it back towards the middle and leave it for that flying Byra player. Exile gets a little bit too far ahead of this on the respawn, and X-Ray slots it from mid-pitch. 101 seconds left here. 2-score difference, and now that is the biggest lead that the Carthage Red Firebirds have enjoyed at any point of this game. I mean, have they actually been ahead in this series so far? Because obviously they took it in overtime in game number 2, like the win.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, you might have a point there. I think Davenport had been in the driver's seat, if not completely, definitely most of the time. So this is new ground for Carthage for sure. I'll have to keep an eye out at whether or not they stay grounded or they continue the fight. I'm sure the last thing they want to do is give the space for Davenport to get that comeback started. They may have no ability to. Oh, wow. Kidding me, Exiled. able to beat the attacker in core to keep this ball game at 2.
Pinball plays right there, Pyro. My goodness, down low, a bouncing ball, and X-Ray gets to it with plenty of time to go. Now sending it back down the other way, maybe trying to go coast to coast again.
Off the corner they go. Exiled, waiting for the bounce. Gets the backboard touch for a teammate to dive in for the shot, but it won't go. Leading blocker play. X-Ray does get the demolition, forcing Exiled on the ball instead. Follow-up could be deadly here for Carthage, but they play back instead. Long, deep offensive rotation just to ensure that the counterattack doesn't go. But there's no one home. Para across the other way. Shot goes! He follows his own shot for the goal to bring it within 1.
Sends this back from basically their own blue line on the other side. 22 seconds to go. 1 score differential is definitely possible.
Oh, it's feasible, and if it is, you'll expect a fight from Davenport. They do win this kickoff. They've got Parr on the ball, but he's beaten by Vale. So it's up to Exiled on 0 boost to make the save. Just gets it over the crossbar, plays the top corner on the defensive end. Byra played the other side. Now he's got a one-on-one. He dribbles, he flicks, he scores! Davenport have tied it up.
This is such an amazing play. You see all 3 members here of Davenport squatting up on each other. Core is going the wrong, he's driving the wrong way, but he's looking the opposite, right? Maybe trying to get under that something. That's one of those situations where you wait long enough to make a decision, the decision will make you. Split to the right side. Para coming in. 0 seconds. Last bounce territory. Gore sends it way over to the other side, and it's a nose down overtime draw.
Davenport had almost stolen a previous game, but then they got scored on off the kickoff. Can they do the same against their opponents? Parr's up for this one. It's off the ceiling. The backboard is set up for the shot. Here it comes, but it's saved by X-Ray. Exile still has the follow positioned. It's up on the goal line to get the goalie out of the way. And somehow Carthage have stabilized off that scary kickoff.
Core, great job redirecting this one and continuing the momentum down the field. Shooting into this one is Vale. Burned about half their boost of a full tank just to get there, and it was necessary. Now offensive drive started. Meets for it. Para just turns this one into a pass and at least gets a nose upon it. Byra going to win that 15, send it back on over to the other corner. Keeps ball aloft. Tries to get it out to him. They read this pass play out way early. Para, yet again, that one's too high.
They've got the right idea. Take the shot and make the demo happen. Clear out any defense that could possibly be there in the way. But unfortunately, the shot's on a target for Davenport. That's the loose end that they've got to tie up. And if they keep giving chances to Carthage to turn this around and give them their own chance, it will be punished. Davenport need to be clinical in a clutch time if they want to get towards the end of this series. Otherwise, Carthage, they'll keep battling back. They have to do it defensively right now. Core takes around the corner. X-Ray for the follow-up off the backboard, but it's a giveaway. It passes out to Para. Takes it across the backboard, still had their flip for that extra momentum. Now it's Exiled, leaves the ball, puts X-Ray in a really awkward position. Byra waits for Core's touch, and Core gets right over them. Core able to slow the play down, allow their team to resource up, but is it enough? Exiled towards the backboard, sets up for Byra. He's got 2 defenders to put it past, and he's unable to do so. They put up the wall.
That was a fantastic defensive wall, like you said. Squatted up in the bottom. Sometimes double commits are necessary, and that saves the day, at least for a few seconds, for the side of the Carthage Red Firebirds. Back to the middle. Vale, a bouncing ball. There's nobody really there, and Byra has to cut rotation to get in front of this one. X-Ray, back down to the other. A huge wall pinch here. Para, a little wall pinch of their own. Sends it back down to the middle of the pitch. This is foisted to the middle. That's a bouncing ball. They're really glad it was not traveling faster.
I love the couple pitches there. It's showing that both teams have the same capabilities when it comes to swinging the momentum so swiftly. That shot could have gone for X-Ray, but it was off target. Byra getting a full boost and waiting on the goal line. Exiled is that positional player to bail them out. Corner read for Byra, and a great 50 afterwards has Exiled on the wing. It's cut off. The interception read by Vale. And that's the kind of vision needed for Carthage to turn this thing around and start to take a dominant foot in this series. On target shot from Core, sent away by Exiled. Time provided for Davenport, but they already have boost, so they're going to chomp at the bit here. Shot for Core, up on the backboard. Shot taker now from X-Ray. That's deflected well. Exiled, do you have the time to get to that ball in time? Yes, you do. And the play goes on.
Yeah, 3 minutes plus of overtime right now. Round and round we go. Where we stop, Pyro, I do not know. Ball back in the other side. Core almost gets it past Pirates and nose up into the corner play. Exiled gets up for it. Maybe he gives them a little bit what for here too, but not really going to be enough to take this one away. We're looking at a Davenport squad that needs to spread the pitch a little bit more. Down bottom, Vale interrupts this again. That's another passing play that's been completely taken away by this Carthage Firebird squad.
Yeah, again, they know exactly what Davenport want to do, and Carthage, what they want to do is score right here. Oh, Exiled had the read. It was a really bad clear from Davenport, but they cleaned it up. Para, it's not done. Pass out. Exiled. Couldn't get the piece of it they were looking for, but Exiled ready to cherry pick off the ceiling. It's towards the net. X-Ray had to get it clear. Are able to keep that rotation sound on the offensive side for Davenport. They didn't want to collapse on it, but they have to. One clear made. Parra was prepared for it. It's open at the logo. Quick swing around. I think Core wanted the follow shot, but the shot was a little too heavy-handed on the first touch. Fail on the tall flick. That pass way too high for X-Ray to make a shot out of, but not too much for the follow-up to get a goal. The bouncer is too high, and Carthage go with another opportunity. Just shy.
As the 19th shot attempted here from this Carthage Red squad, as now we were 20 seconds away from a full another Rocket League game. Put down bottom. Core tries for it to the bottom right hand. Exiled reads it, and we continue on. Is that 13, 16 total shots for Davenport as well? Yeah.
Yeah, the shot counts are getting ludicrous at this point. I think with a full 2 games of Rocket League, it's only going to exceed. Add another one to the tally tug. It's getting ridiculous. It might just be too loose for Carthage to grab. It gets away from them. Byra, the dunk to set up Exile.
Dude, Exile is literally just like fighting, just like tackling through players just to try and get a tiny little tap onto this ball. That's going to be a 3-1 scoreline as of this point. So GG's being put up in chat right there, but this match is not over. Just want to be super clear about that. Was that 21 shots attempted for Carthage Red, 16 for Davenport Red. But it's going to be the money, value, quality shots from Davenport Red to come out and rue the day. That was game 4, right? Yeah, that was game 4, so this should be...
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right. I had to do some quick math as well. They're giving GGs in chat and stuff there.
Oh, are they? Okay, yeah. No, you had me second guessing as well. I was taking a little look at it too there. So thanks for keeping me honest.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I'll tell you what, you know that a lot of Rocket League was played when nearly 3 players can round their score up to 1,000 points. 4 digits is ridiculous. Or that score, Exiled, topping the charts with a 1,067 score. Yeah, this is a fight. This is a fight. This is the finals that needed to happen, Tugboat. There's really no other way to say it. I'm so happy that we get to broadcast this matchup because we have so many divisions in NECC. Which Rocket League games do you show? Well, you show the grittiest, you show the toughest, and you show the barn burners that rage on. We're getting one right here. 3-1 from Davenport. They are 1 away from being crowned your champion.
D2 champs indeed, yes sir. Half these games so far going to overtime as well. That's going to be just getting this a little bit too much air upon it. I believe that was Core on the previous shot. A little bit lower, a little bit more nose in, angled out. And I do think that would have been fast enough to be able to foist this bottom right. We see an early score on the board.
I don't know about you, Tugboat, but I hope those players took that full breadth of the
Yeah,
60
I hope
seconds
so.
between games. You gotta wipe the sweat off your hands in the controller. You gotta maybe do a breathing exercise, whatever it takes really to set up for that next game that we're already a minute into and maybe a goal into as well. Yeah, Vale's gonna knock it in.
Yeah, a couple of shots attempted already from Vale here. This got honestly, this kind of felt like a little bit late. It felt like there should have been a goal a little bit sooner than this one. Core's got themselves an assist and a save, sitting pretty at the top of the scoreboard for Carthage Red thus far. Early score here, If a comeback's going to happen for Carthage Red, it's going to have to start in this game number 5. They're going to have to win game number 6 and 7 after that to reset the bracket. I'm saying that to all of you fans. Carthage Red, do not be listening to those words. Play the Rocket League game in front of you.
That's right. You know, when they say one day at a time, it's so true in the sense of Rocket League as well. One game at a time. Heck, one play at a time. You know what I mean? You've got this much boost. You've got the ball right there. That's the focus at that point. Carthage Red, they've played a million games of Rocket League. These players are nearly at the highest level of collegiate Rocket League. You might as well just hone in on your own skills and make every play count.
Era trying to get it done here with no boost in the tank. Exiled backwards pass. That core finds the demo on the way inside, but with Byra's dying breath, they're able to foist us back down to the middle, and that purchases their team a little bit of time to get into position. This is looking like a first-person shooter with the amount of kill feeds going across the top right here, folks.
Yeah, what game are we in again? I know you and I have been playing some Arc Raiders or few different matchups, but no, kill cam with demolitions here. And if this matches any semblance of game number 1, demolitions will not be a single surprise to see in this game. Been a feisty bunch tonight for sure.
Oh yeah.
Davenport though, you know, they've been pretty feisty with the flicks as well. That one, or score up high. Byra's gonna leave this for Exile. Shots missed, but he's got his teammate in the way.
This is so good, too, because if this actually is on point, then I do believe this is blocked away, like right there, right? From, I believe that was X-Ray. It's the fact that it's able to even hit that backboard and then come back out that sets it up for the teammate. Wide open shot. Kickoff here in 1, well, for a couple of seconds by Davenport. Player coming on the inside gets demoed along their way, and Para, the only reason they're even back is because they got demoed. That's actually a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier, Pyro, where sometimes, like, you end up demoing a player and they end up in a better position than they were before you did.
That's right. And, you know, like, we talk about channeling your frustration in a good way, and demos is a good thing, but as you're saying, not always. It's fun, though, being in the mind of a Davenport player, though. We've seen a few instances where demolition kind of would secure their goal. So, like an aerial challenge almost get demoed from Para on the other side of the field, or maybe it was Byra. They're always searching for that physical player that will take them over the edge. We are possibly one goal away from crowning a winner in NECC Division 2, and that might be the goal. Byra, what a shot.
A fantastic pass that comes off the back of a miscue right here as 2 members of Carthage are trying to scramble back. But Pyro, you drew that up perfectly.
It felt like it was on its way. You got the infield pass going. You got a shot taker like Byra, and it's there. The demolitions are scary as well, though, Tugboat, when you get a explosive kickoff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if we've seen many kickoffs where there's not a dual demo, like at least one of them in the middle, if not each team taking one after sending 2 for the initial kickoff. Exile now down, bouncing ball against the backboard. This is sent the opposite direction to the corner that this Carthage squad doesn't want. They need to just get this out here, but clearing is a bigger, an easier task that is said than done.
It is indeed with how fast these cars are flying right now. I'm afraid, though, for Carthage. Exile really feels like he's getting in his flow state right now. I saw a wonderful Doomsy Dish play that ended up in a fantastic dunk when you're moving that swiftly in the air. And again, the fast aerial just to challenge Carthage. I don't think anything's getting past this Davenport team right now, but Carthage, you got 30 seconds to make it happen.
30 seconds, still greatness here, folks. We're going to see a tying factor, a little bit more overtime, and Carthage Red standing up, or will this status quo be maintained? And the team from the upper bracket coming in, Will Exiled wants to make this a 2-score game, sends it flying down to the right side, steals some boost along the way, picking pockets of boost right there. Para wasting time, it's open, it's down bottom, no, it's a bouncing ball, and the game is over!
Davenport Red.
Wow.
are your champions, NECC Division 2. And they do it with an exclamation mark at the end there, Tugboat. That ball was on target.
Dude. All of this night, right, folks? If you've been watching this entire time, first of all, thank you for joining us this whole time. And second of all, like, you see how long the second match was. Bracket reset, everything else coming to this. All of this entire third match comes down, I'm going to say a half a second difference, right? Half a second more, ball bounces inside, we go to overtime. We're still watching this, and Carthage is still alive. And that's just the beauty of Rocket League, man. That's just the absolute wonderful beauty of Rocket League, and that's how it's going to shake out. Not taking anything away from Davenport now, not by any means, but Carthage, they did everything that they needed to bring this to overtime in 5 minutes and one half of a second of time. Man, oh man.
They really did. Yeah, what a fight. I love the tempo shift as well during that match. Like, we were in the comms and like the text chat of the server when that match started, and it was all jokes. It was all funnies, game 1, game 2, but then we started to get some overtimes. Then we started to get into the demos and the outplays. Then we got into a 5-minute overtime, and how close those matches were, Tug. I didn't see any chatter after that. I saw some GGs, but I saw 6 players locked in, wanting that win. Davenport Red, at the end of the day, were just better on the pitch, and they earned that win. What a night, Tugboat. Full of bracket resets, NECC finals, pure cinema.
Pure cinema. They did not fail to entertain by any means. We had D8 that was fantastic earlier. Just as a recap here, that was Mount Vernon taking that one down in taking that one down in 4-1 fashion. Indiana Tech and Northwood, there'd be a little bit of contention early in the first best of 7, but Northwood would take that down in 4-1 fashion with a pair of overtime wins, push into the bracket reset, and just completely completely roll the second best of 7 series right there. We moved on into this one that really was shaping up to be the most competitive match with some fantastic unmatched vibes there earlier. It would end up going a similar situation. 4-1 right here with, again, a couple of overtimes and then a last-second game, right? A last-second game that we could still be doing this one right now if Carthage just did that about, took the shot about half second. And again, nothing against them by any means. It's just it's fascinating to me how much Rocket League and how much gameplay, just like a lot of other competitions, a lot of these sports and traditional sports, how much effort and how much absolute back and forth barn-burning material can come down to just a tiny lack of time, like just half a second, maybe in a quarter second, something like that, Pyro.
That's sports, Tugboat. That's the beauty of it for sure.
It is.
I'm glad we could do it in the booth together, Tugboat. Crowning 3 champions here for your NECC finals. Fantastic. We still, at the end of the day, do want to thank our sponsors. So thank you so much to Wenzel, Extron, and BYE by Blue Light. Don't worry, folks. For the NECC, there's still amazing esports action. As Tugboat said, they can go all the way down to the wire, so you don't want to miss it tomorrow. League of Legends finals, and of course, Overwatch 2 finals on Friday. So, hey, from myself, Pyro J, from Tugboat in the casting booth, from Chippy and Ramen, the both of them working hard tonight, making this broadcast look amazing. We thank you so much for tuning in, and have a great rest of your night.